Good evening. It is I and the Bionic Man himself. He's alive. He's in the darkness. He's probably hanging out. If you look behind him, Aaron Rodgers is hanging out back there.
He's next to me.
Yeah. Have you embraced the darkness, Eric?
I have. I also believe in a thing called love.
You do.
I do.
Listen. In addition to, we have much to discuss in this matter. But in addition to it, listen, Eric, I spared no expense. When the opportunity presented itself to talk about the potential, the Game 7, with the Toronto Maple Leafs involved. Hold on, Eric. I got an overlay for this one.
Oh boy.
I got a blue overlay. And here's the thing. If you pay attention, right at the top, you guys can see it better. It says Game 7, and you see what's there instead of the Brett Favre himself?
I can't see, buddy.
Those are the eyes of Carlton the Bear right there. Let's just zoom in on Carlton the Bear there in the corner, taking Brett Favre's usual spot.
Okay.
I spared no expense.
I will trust that that's what you have done.
That is what I have done. I spared no expense, Eric. I went to my people and I said, people, we got to have something special. And they're like, blue overlay with Carlton the Bear in the corner? Exactly. Nailed it. It's a beautiful thing. Zach here, first little block. There's no way that's a real Eric. Hashtag conspiracy. It is true. I did spend the weekend. The original Eric was brutally murdered by Marcel Dion in a fit of rage when he finally did what needed to be done. Fortunately, the AI has gotten pretty good.
I assume Marcel is going to kill me at some point, but he hasn't yet. But sooner or later, I think he's definitely going to get me.
I think at some point. But Eric, since you're here now, at least in AI form, I feel that it would be appropriate that we at least together, enjoy it. So whether you can see it or not, at least you can enjoy the audio from it. It's a wonderful thing. So let's enjoy this. This episode is full of anticipation, full of excitement, to the point that Eric was basically barreling his way down here. He basically crashed on his way in. He just went like freight train. He had to go. It was, geez, more on that developing story on Friday. I promise, more on that developing story on Friday.
Oh, gee.
That's nice.
Yeah, again, I spared no expense. Again, Eric, I spared no expense whatsoever.
No. And that's not even why I missed the show on Friday.
That's the best part, Eric. That's the best part. The best part is the crash. You were there. People were asking us, was it the crash? It's like he was on the podcast after the crash. No. He found new ways, like Super Dave Osborne back in the day. Hashtag new pain. Eric found a new way to hurt himself that wasn't even related to a bicycle. It's very impressive.
Well, in a way, it is related to a bicycle. In a way,
it is. But you know what else is related to, Eric? It's related to knives. Your own wonderful knives have turned on you. They have turned against you. Like everything else.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
The irony. The irony is fabulous, isn't it?
I didn't even connect that one. Good for you.
Oh, Eric, I connected it. Don't think for 1 second I missed it. I did not miss it. See, now Eric is in the darkness.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everyone, hello to the new guy on the right. I know. Yes, indeed. So yes, Eric has been attacked by the knives, and the knives got first blood.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm. Well, Eric, if it makes you feel any better, in contrast, I too had hardships. I was trying to figure out what to have for dinner. So I walked down the street to the Harveys and I had myself, a burger with fries, and they had blueberry pie. So, I overcame the odds. It was wonderful.
I like blueberry pie.
Blueberry pie was very good. It was very good, by the way. It was very nice.
Excellent.
Very nice. Well, if you like, I have a second one. I can try to bring it to you through the screen.
That might make me feel better if you can do that.
Just try to just push it through, see what I can do. I'll do what I can. But yes. Just checking that out here, and obviously we've gotten started. I didn't think they would actually start on time. That's why I picked the start time that I did. It looks like they did get the game going. So right now it's still 0-0. So we've got 0-0 here. I'm on a time delay. I'll be curious to see, though, if anybody is watching what their time delay is. Probably different than mine. So what I'm looking at right now is about 13-10 in the first, give or take. And it looks like Florida is out shooting 7-0 right now. Is what they've got.
Yeah, Florida is completely dominating this. I don't think Toronto's even gotten out of their zone yet.
Yeah, sounds about right in Game 7. So it was actually very funny. So the Burrell does have an invite, if he ends up popping in. So we'll see if he does. He is the resident, angry former Leafs fan, current Leafs fan, can never really give them up, but at the same time wants to disown them. So it is that wonderful dynamic that we have going on there.
As a Bruins fan, I feel for Bobby. Now the number one reason I need Florida to win this, of course, is because if they win this, the Bruins get a better draft pick because of the Brad Marchand trade. So I am all about Florida winning this because it's going to help the Bruins.
Is this a watch party?
Oh, it is.
Eric, where's your tin cup?
You can't see it.
Yeah, I have my white cane and my tin cup.
Guess so.
Wonderful. Truly.
Why do you feel for me? I heard that when I just came in. What was that?
We were explaining the complexity of being a Leafs fan from back in the day, Boris Salming, the Daryl Sittler teams and all that, and the endless amount of this team driving you crazy to the point that you want to disown them, but you don't completely disown them, but you sort of disown them. It's the whole back and forth thing.
It is.
Yeah, it's like being a Bruins fan. I'm with you.
Yeah, I love to hate them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because there's a difference to like the ultimate difference, the difference between love. The exact opposite would be complete indifference. It's not hate, because hate still requires you to give them some bandwidth, even if it's to be angry at them, shake your fist.
Yeah, that's true. So, anyways, I despise them and love them at the same time at certain points. Actually, I really love the history of the Leafs 10 years so much, but who else am I going to vote for? Boston?
No, because you'd have the same issue.
Yeah, at least I'd have some more recent Stanley Cups to be.
Well, yeah, but you'd also, there's plenty of horrible history. I mean, we can go back to Too Many Men on the Ice. We can go with Peter Klima. We can go with Philadelphia being up on Philadelphia 3-0, going to Game 7, being up 3-0 in Game 7 and losing. We can go to being in Game 6 of the finals with Chicago and being just a couple of minutes away from getting to Game 7 and then letting like 3 goals go in like 2 minutes. And then we have
Boston and Toronto.
No.
Anyways.
Well, yeah. You're right. You're right. So, yeah. And then we have 2019 when we're the favorites to beat St. Louis, and St. Louis kicked our ass. And then we have the greatest record in hockey history, and we get our asses kicked by the Panthers. So
in the Hindenburg-like ending.
Hindenburg-like ending. So, I mean, listen, I feel for you, man.
I think Zeppelin was playing in the background in the Hindenburg.
Yeah, I think you're exactly.
It would have been solid. I would appreciate it.
So I feel your pain. As Bill Clinton once said, I'll feel your pain.
Oh, I'm glad you said that quote. I didn't want to hear any others.
Could have been some other ones.
I did not sleep.
Yeah. Listen, it might be just as applicable. Who knows? Like it is what it is. You just got to roll with it.
Yeah.
I'll be back because I got to tell my wife I'm out.
Go for it.
She was upstairs with her mom for the last couple hours. So
no worries. But yeah, I figured, so it was funny because my original plan was to go down and watch the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team. And then I thought better of it. I got up this morning and then I realized it's going to be a madhouse out there. Even though I'm clearly going somewhere over on the side, it's going to be a mass of humanity. Like
I think, all of Ontario is going to be just a mess tonight.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I rethought it and I was like, nah, you know what? I'll just sleep in a little bit, go get myself some lunch and then kind of chill. Took care of some errands around here, so it worked out really well. And then, like I said, had myself just went down the street to go get some dinner, and then we're all set here. It's like, all right, we're good to go. Plus, I got blueberry pie, man. Like I'm good. I'm solid.
I'm jealous about that. That's just good times.
Mm-hmm. It was good. I rather appreciate it. I enjoyed it. But yeah, for the most part. So for everybody who tuned in, you guys know what the drill. Feel free to chime in the chat. We'll hang out. We're just hanging out. We're watching the game. But it will also be BSing about other things because, frankly, I enjoy the game no matter what. I watch it without commentary on. The commentary doesn't add anything for me. I just need to see the game, and I've got it on, so it's easy for me. So basically, just I'd be BSing with people on text message threads or Discord anyway. So for me, it just works out. May as well just do it here. Plus, it gave us a chance to do the Carlton the Bear overlay, like bonus there. Plus, I got to do the Mr. T on the thumbnail prediction. Pain.
Yes.
I was like, Eric, I can't miss an opportunity like that. It's too good.
No.
It's way too good. Beautiful thing.
You know how they have, nowadays with the boards, they can change the things written on the boards anytime they want. They
like superimpose it. It's CGI basically. Yeah.
Well, behind the Florida net is just a big American flag. And I'm like, okay, I don't get it.
So they couldn't sell an ad for anything?
Yeah, they're selling an ad for America. I don't know. It just seems.
I don't think America is paying for this.
Yeah, I listen. I look up, and behind Bobrovsky is just a big old American flag, and I'm just like, what are they advertising? Over there, they got great clips, SO, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, big old American flag, taking up the entire back of the boards. It's like, okay, fine with me. I just think it's kind of interesting to be in Toronto right now.
I'm just surprised that it surprises me. Amazon actually has a deal with the NHL to do games on Prime or whatever. I'm surprised they just wouldn't advertise there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, NHL on Prime. Like Bezos has lots of money. He could totally pay for it.
He definitely has. He sends people to space and calls them astronauts.
Well, phallic-shaped rockets.
Yeah. Oh God, what a ridiculous joke that whole thing was.
Now I'm curious though. I'm checking it out. I actually saw a commercial, and now they've got me curious. I'm trying to confirm if this is a Canadian commercial, American. Oh, it looks like it is Canadian. Huh. So I'll explain why the commercial struck me. So I'm seeing kind of the corner of my eye as you're talking. I see this commercial, and the commercial again. This is on the hockey game. I'm watching it on Sportsnet in Canada for the Hockeys.
Yeah,
so all good. The commercial is literally all baseball and softball players. It's literally showcasing racks of bats. So they're trying on the gloves and doing all this, and then they call it Team Town Sports, which I've never heard of. That's the reason I was checking. I've never heard of
it either.
So I was like, is this an American thing? Did they superimpose an American ad and I didn't see it? But no, it looks like there is in fact a Team Town Sports. There's apparently one in Mississauga, and I don't know what that is. I feel like that's a replacement for something because I've never seen it before.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, Argentina Road. Huh. Yeah, well, I know where that is, but yeah, so that's actually in the main mall that we have here. Is they got bought out by somebody? Like, what the hell is this? What did I miss? Huh.
Oh.
That's a new one for me. Whatever. But it is kind of interesting that of all the things, they would advertise a bunch of baseball. I was like, baseball on the Hockeys.
Yeah,
like, all right. Sure. Whatever works, man.
This one time I'm going to wear this.
I see my friend now down behind the Toronto end, and they have Willie O'Ree's face behind there. I'm like, hey, that's my buddy Willie.
You were just excited about Willie.
I think so.
Willie's such a good guy. I'm so happy to know him.
Yes.
I can only assume the hat helped.
I don't need clips out today, so we'll just keep that one hat bay. Anyways,
I was going to say we'll get some clips out. Look, at least the hat might have helped Bobby. It inspired the Leafs to get a shot on net. So step in the right direction,
or almost a shot on net, as I seen.
7-1 from what, and now that I have perfect vision, I can see the score now very clearly. It says 7-1 on the shots on goal.
Did you tell us about what procedure you had, or is it?
It's Eric was trying to get laser eyes and it didn't quite work out. That's why.
Yeah, I wanted. They told me I misunderstood. Okay, I thought LASIK gave you laser eyes, and I wanted laser eyes like Superman, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm in. So I, paid the money, saved up, paid the money, and come to find out, that's not what they do. They use lasers to correct your eyes. So I was like, well, I'd like to have my money back, please. And they said no.
So does it give you back 2020?
For distance, yeah. Everything's clear. Yeah, it's incredible, which is, the reason I did this was because I don't mind wearing glasses, but when I'm riding out in the woods, the glasses fog up or sweat comes pouring down, usually at the worst possible time. And I've ended up crashing.
Blacked out. I don't know what's going on.
Because I can't see anything.
He's in the darkness with Aaron Rodgers.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle and I decided that for my overall safety and continued enjoyment of the sport, I should be able to see.
I love that decision.
Are you wait? Can point of order? Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Are we sure that's the reason why, though? Are we sure that Michelle wasn't specifically going, so you're saying you'll fire lasers at his eyes and then poke him with a knife in the eye? And she's like, go for it.
I'm wondering if she had something to do with that part, but yeah, I haven't told that part of the story yet. So I went to get the LASIK so I'd be able to see clearly and have better depth perception when I'm out riding. So I'll crash less, hopefully.
No, I thought it was so that you could more accurately see the crash and go, oh, geez, ahead of time as you're in midair.
Or make myself believe I can see better, therefore do dumber stuff and crash harder.
That probably seems the more likely scenario, yes.
But I do like the latter, yes.
During the procedure on Friday, while they were doing my right eye, something went wrong. And they ended up slicing my eyeball.
What?
Yeah. So after the numbing drops wore off, I was in more pain than I've ever been in my life. And I have had, as we joke, factually, I have had countless painful, bad, serious injuries, ones that have needed surgery to repair. And I will take any of them. I'll break my back again. I will partially dislocate my hip, have it replaced. I will do all of that again, then have this type of eye injury. It is the most painful thing I have ever had, to the point of driving me insane.
Insane.
It is horrible. Absolutely horrible. I would only wish this on my worst enemy.
Wow.
Like, I dislike lots of people.
Like,
I wouldn't wish it on them.
How does that happen? They were watching the game, or what?
I don't know. I mean,
my theory, Bobby, remains that I was like, I feel like there was somebody in the background going, take him out, take him out. And the suspect list is long.
Well, yes, it is. I still think it's probably Michelle. She was there. I did see her talking to the surgeon over in the side, and I did think I thought I saw cash being given, but that's a whole nother thing.
I think it was Willie hiding around the corner.
No,
it could have been him. It could have been him. It could have been Marcel. It could have been McFoley. Like the list of
actually,
suspects.
Can somebody do something with this guy?
I could see Mick or Marcel doing something, but Willie's too nice.
They could do it in cahoots with Florida Man.
It's the ultimate involved.
Ham
could have been involved in this.
Ham and Michelle probably had something planned to end me so they could be together. But
so it's a dramatic reenactment. So Bobby, for the dramatic reenactment, I mentioned to Eric the great irony that he was done in by the knives he loves so much.
Maybe.
So it was not a maybe. They cut his eye with a knife. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So the thing is, so this is a dramatic reenactment. So basically what happens, well, they do as part of the correction thing. But with Eric, what they did is they, dramatic reenactment. They like, in the eye. Basically.
Yeah. I think something happened with the tool that pries the eyelids open. I think maybe when they were taking it off, the spring went loose. So the guy, just screwed up somehow, and it ended up hitting my eyeball and slicing my eyeball.
So
and
just sliced through your eyeball, sliced into your eyeball,
into like a cut, like a cut on your arm,
in your lens, or to the
yeah,
left or right, or where?
in my right eye.
Through your pupil, through your iris, through your what?
I don't have the details. It's in my eye, and it hurts like hell.
So you just said, "Oh, like we cut you. You're in pain. Okay, thanks. Bye."
When I left, I had numbing drops.
Like,
he said it's going to hurt for a couple of days, but then it'll be fine. He didn't explain to me that it was going to be mind-numbing, horrific, mind-bending pain.
So the insurance that paid for that, can the insurance be revoked in a certain way because of this?
Yeah, can I get some of my money back? Because insurance only pays for a small, because it's elective surgery.
It is elective, yeah.
They only pay a small amount. A lot comes out of pocket. So, this was something that we saved up, and this wasn't like a, hey, let's go do this on Friday. It's something that we've talked about, and I've been saving up and planning. And it costs a lot of money. And I would like my money back. But my vision is great. My distance. Now I can't see anything up close now. I got to wear glasses the rest of my life, which I was going to do anyway.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Well, because we got to remember, Bobby,
doesn't fix everything.
No, the way it works generally is they basically. I took a consultation years ago in my 20s. I did a consultation for it just to see, because consultation, you don't have to commit to anything. You can just be like, all right, explain it to me. Am I a candidate? What the options, etc.
Decades ago. So
it was decades ago. So, but the cutting was actually part of that at the time. And the way it would work is that there were a few potential. Again, everybody's gonna be a little different, because part of it is that it's almost like taking a lens and setting it up a certain way. Nearsighted versus farsighted. You're making a correction for that. Whereas if your eyes were just on their own and it were working normally, you could adjust that back and forth. But in this case, you're basically I'm simplifying it, but you're almost like presetting it. You're resolving one issue, but you're kind of locking yourself in.
Yep.
Exactly. To the other issues. So I have no problem. I don't need glasses on, for the computer. I do wear them, but I mean, I don't need for distance. I would, for close up, small stuff. That's all.
That's it. Exactly. So like if I wear these day to day, because these work really well to help me with.
Sure.
But if I took them off and I grabbed the book and started reading, I could read it. So it'd be fine.
I can read, but it gets difficult. Depends on how big the letters are, how much light we have. All of those things. You look on the small back of a can of SpaghettiOs and go, "What the hell is in here?"
Why do I have SpaghettiOs? How did this get in this house?
It was beefaroni.
What have I done?
I got it mixed up. It was beefaroni.
So I was wearing progressive lenses anyway, because I couldn't see close or far.
Really?
So now I can see far.
I was going to say, at least it solves one of the two.
Like when I picked that, we go.
So I was damned either way. So now I only have one problem instead of two.
It was getting Eric's problem was, it's like, this is not my house again.
Yeah.
This is not my beautiful wife. This is not my Michael Ham car. No.
The days go by. Wow.
Yes.
So Dan here, good evening, Dan. Absolutely seek legal counsel. Listen, you don't need to threaten Eric with a good lawyer.
Yep. Dan's there.
Well, Dan,
if you thought the LASIK was expensive, his retainer would.
I was going to say, yeah. Dan, it looks like Dan might have something coming up in an REA auction. He's angling for a new client. I don't know if he practices that type of law, but nonetheless, he might be able to refer you and get a couple bucks one way or the other.
Did somebody say injured in what?
It's like you injured. You remember all those ambulance chaser commercials that were played like every 5 seconds?
Well, they were usually from Buffalo. Now they've worked their way in.
There were so many from Buffalo.
Now. Oh God, yeah.
Eric, if you want, I can refer you to a bunch of lawyers in Buffalo, because we used to get the commercials for.
We got plenty here. We got plenty here.
That was half the commercials.
Was it like William McCarr? Wasn't that one of the ones that I remember?
Like 444-444-4444.
But Eric, you should tell you how many times we heard those damn commercials that I can start. Yeah. I'm not in Buffalo, Eric. No? I can name off a bunch of random lawyers from Buffalo because I saw the damn commercials every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Celino and Barnes was a good one. Yes. Celino and Barnes was a classic. All the time.
They're on during the day here all the time. So. plus the billboards that are everywhere. So there's
Everywhere.
lawyers. You can't go 10 minutes without seeing an advertisement for a lawyer around here.
Now,
It
so
wasn't
right
that
now,
way
as
up
we
here in
speak,
Canada, but it seems to be turning that way. Now we have, what's that other one that's really funny name? I'll get it in a second.
there were a couple different ones. So real quick, so on my end, again, I'm curious about the delay for you guys. So right now I'm sitting at about 318 in the first. Right now shots are 7-6, so still 0-0, still 0-0. Seven, actually, they're marking it at 7-7. So it looks like they're even on shots. So Toronto's finally started making some shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the last one was a decent shot on net from Matthews, but it hit Bobrovsky in the chest. But it was a good shot. He got a clean shot off.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest problem with the Leafs is overpassing. They don't get enough shots on net, and it's really funny. It doesn't have to be a great shot to go in.
Well, right now, so this was something I was talking about with some folks. I was very happy that Dallas won last night, but it was an overtime. So it's one of those things, though. It was like the perfect example was a couple of the goals that they had on there. Is that just shoot on net. So weird bounces have been happening all playoffs. So like, how are you going to have any chance if you don't at least put it on net and give yourself a chance? So the game-winning goal, I believe, if memory serves me, was a rebound that was captured, and then they were able to fire it off. Well, actually, that might have been the first goal of the game. It was maybe a rebound, and then they fired. Well, guess what? The only way you get a rebound is you got to put the shot on net. That's the only way you get that rebound chance.
Something that I used to do when I played hockey, and rather than just shoot it in, around the net, behind the net, whatever, flipping it high and letting it, flip around.
Roll. Yeah. Spin.
Yeah. And those crazy bounces go in. It happens all the time in the NHL, but this way, either you get a face-off, he covers it up, so you got a face-off in their end, and you might just score.
Yeah, and for me, strategy, rather than make an extra 3 or 4 passes, passes, just fire it on net and see what happens.
Yeah.
Fire it on net.
That's it.
Send the guy towards the net and fire it on net, and maybe he gets a rebound.
And even get a bounce.
It happens all the time.
Like a one bounce shot is actually such a good shot, and very rarely do I ever see that. It's just like a flip, bounce, and one in, and hard to juggle, and good for deflecting too.
Yep. So Dan here's got a couple of good comments. Then Celino died in a private plane crash. I had a conspiracy theory. We do like us a good conspiracy theory.
I do.
Zach here says I had one 20/20 eye, but wear glasses for my bad eye. I've worn them since I was 6. Just don't have this burning desire to never have to wear glasses. It's one of those things. If at the time I would have considered it, probably at this point I wouldn't bother. But it was interesting. I didn't mind taking the consultation because I still wanted to hear out, explain it to me, talk me through it. Because at that point you don't have to commit to anything. You can still take the consultation, and I would love to have it without the glasses, but at this point I just got used to it, so it's not really that big a deal to me at this stage.
If it wasn't for cycling, I had no problem wearing glasses. I had prescription sunglasses. I had 2 pairs of prescription regular glasses. I have no problem wearing glasses. It affected my life in no way until I tried to ride, and then they'd fog up or just be covered in sweat, and I can't see. So
when you have eyebrows, that's why eyebrows are there to stop the.
Well, Eric, this is why we discussed earlier that regardless for all your crashes, a helmet is no longer sufficient. Now you need to be suspended in gelatin. So if you are suspended in gelatin, the gelatin might be able to also have air conditioning properties. So maybe it would prevent the issue.
I had to buy a new helmet.
And it slows down sudden stops because of the gelatin does disperse.
That crash I had on Monday, I had to buy a new helmet.
Dan here says Barnes and Celino's brother are now rivals. This explains a lot. Philly Joe, good evening, Carlos and gang. Great to see you, Eric. Again, the irony, I appreciate it. But thank you, Philly Joe. Appreciate you. By the way, also, Philly Joe, thank you for your recent comment on it on the last video. If you check out the last video of it, I actually went through comments from folks from the offer video, and I went through a couple of different ones. Great comments, by the way, for everybody. But I went through the comments and responded to them. And by the way, my personal favorite. So, Eric, if you get a chance to see that video, one of the comments that was put on there was from Paul. And even though you wouldn't think that somehow you factor into the offer, Paul made sure to include you. And I included the comment in the video because it was a great comment. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
All right.
Foreshadowing. Dan here says the foggy glasses explains a lot. It really does. It really does. So see Florida power play here. So, all right. Florida was dominating the first part of it. So it's kind of evened out a little bit. Now the shots are even. So it's actually been a much better start. So I don't know. Curious, Bobby. Obviously, it'd be wise for them. I say this truthfully, and then most likely it's going to happen. I really do believe that Toronto and the people there, you want no part of Game 7 overtime. You don't want to trifle with those hockey forces where one shot will ruin you, and it would be like the dumbest and worst shot in the world. You don't want any piece of that. You want this done in regulation. Get it over with. Get it over with.
One of the guys was listening to the show and he goes, I'm going to try what Bobby says. Click it in and drop it. Boom. Game 7.
It'll be some weird
overtime.
balance. It'll be some ridiculous thing. Yeah.
2-1. Yeah. Unless Gretzky comes back and high sticks somebody, or I don't know.
There you go. But Bobby, you'll appreciate this. This is a good Canadian. I was telling Eric. So because I decided to stick around, I actually checked out a little bit the Maple Leafs baseball team. The games are available live on YouTube. They actually have a broadcast they'll put together for YouTube, which is smart. It's a good idea. It's smart for them. I figured it was going to be a madhouse going to and fro, so I changed my mind at the last minute. You know what? I'm not even dealing with it. A Game 7 at home, right there around this, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be anywhere near that. So let me stay away. But I did end up for dinner. I ended up walking over to the Harveys here. So here's a little CanCon. Walked over to Harveys, had myself the burger with the fries and a blueberry pie.
Oh, the deep fried blueberry pie that's in the French fry oil. Yeah, that's really good. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds healthy.
2 pies for $2.99.
2. Did you eat both?
2. I left the other one in the fridge. I offered it to Eric. I was offering him a blueberry pie.
Huh?
It was solid. It was pretty decent. I enjoyed it.
I do like Harvey's. Are they did you get the fresh cut? Was it part of a Swiss chalet or was it just the other frozen?
That was a straight Harvey's. Yeah, I've got it literally right here beside, just beyond the ghost. Literally, if I go through the parking lot that I'm here, the Harvey's is just at the end there.
Yeah, they use the frozen French fries, which I don't like. I like the fresh cut ones when they're combined with Harvey and Swiss chalet. Then they use the fresh cut because the fresh cut comes over from the Swiss chalet, and those are probably, I went there. When was it? Last week with my sister and brother-in-law for dinner, and the fries were just phenomenal. It was just like, people don't put enough, I guess, effort into their French fries. It's all frozen crap, and the odd place, a good fish and chip shop, will have nice, fresh cut fries. But Swiss chalet does do great fries, and if you have that Harvey's, it's great too. People don't realize, you might have a shitty burger because it's never consistent, but Harvey's is pretty good. But the fries are really everything. And I don't want to even eat fries, which is a good thing, but you don't even want to pay for them. It's like $3.95 for what, and they're not even hot most of the time either. So it's like, I don't know. And then, like I said, I don't really like McDonald's because they're so thin. They get cold so fast.
You're a real connoisseur. You've done your research. You write the book about fries?
That should, Bobby, if you wrote a book about fries, they'd outsell your other book 50 to 1.
I think so.
Probably 100 to 1.
God.
I think I'm going to do an app on fries. Yes.
Also would outsell your other app 1,000 to 1.
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, well, that for sure.
At that point, Bobby, we'd be talking to you from your palatial estate instead of the garage of knowledge.
You'd be known as the fry guy.
Yeah, Bobby the fry guy.
That's right. Billy Joe says, is everyone rooting for the Leafs? So Eric is not, because if the Florida Panthers win, he gets a better draft pick from the Marchand deal.
That's the only reason.
Otherwise, why would he care about it one way or the other? Like, it doesn't. He'd have no stake in it.
No, I'll tell you this: if Toronto wins, I will jump on the Toronto bandwagon and root for them all the way to win.
That happened last year. I don't know.
By the way, real quick. So a couple of quick things. We didn't touch on it, but I figured now would be a good time. We wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about Eric's predicament and his lack of bionic eye. But I will say this. It was interesting to me. So this is kind of what's at stake here. Obviously, if Florida wins, they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're playing Carolina. So that, I don't know if that'll be an exciting series. I don't think it will be. However, it is Florida trying to get to a third straight Stanley Cup. So that's the narrative that plays in that portion of it. If Toronto can get there, then that would be the first Eastern Conference Finals since I believe it was 2002. So someone can check me on that, but I something it's 2002.
Yeah, it was from.
And the last time was against the Carolina Hurricanes. So it'd be a rematch from 2002
straight or something like
something
that.
Something like that.
So bad.
But it would be against Carolina again. So
the divisions don't really change much, so you're always going to end up basically with the same people.
Yeah. But it's just interesting that specifically Carolina happens to be waiting now for whoever wins this game, and if Toronto's best case scenario,
they're rooting for Toronto
winning this game, and they're like, we're just waiting for you. Whoever wants to come in, they're going to be facing them.
Come on, Mr. Matthews.
So from that perspective, and for me, I'm just hoping everyone has a bad time and suffers.
Yeah.
I'm a Western Conference. I'm a fan of a Western Conference team. So it's like, no, I just want you guys to hurt each other. I don't care who wins. I just want you all to hurt each other.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. That's it.
Yep.
I was going to say Bobby's
Toronto,
such a food
Edmonton
snob.
would be ultimate beauty.
Well, that was a joke during the live. Paul obviously got it. I was saying, it's like, oh, you're rooting for. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm a Dallas Stars fan. So they're going to play Edmonton now. I hope they drive McDavid into the 14th row and snap his neck. That's what I hope for. Like, I'm sorry for McDavid. I'm sorry for the Edmontonians, but listen, we got priorities here.
Yep, I'm rooting for Dallas.
But you know what the interesting thing is, Eric? I will say this. This is kind of something I knew it kind of in the abstract, but it wasn't until I sat down and actually looked at it. I was happy last night to watch Dallas win. Obviously, very good. You going to give yourself a chance.
That was a tight game.
It was a tight game, but right up to the end. That's what I mean. Like, there are good teams. You're playing Colorado, that was a tremendous team, and then you're playing here. Winnipeg was a very good team. So it's like you're playing these teams that you're fighting hard. So there was no easy path. And now you're going to play Edmonton, who's another very good team. So if you want to get to the finals, you're going to have to beat some good teams all the way along the way.
Yeah. So
the point is, though, and that'll be a rematch of last year's. But the other thing as well is that's the third straight year Dallas has gotten to the Western Conference Final. And I didn't think about this until I looked at it, because I looked at it in the abstract. Eric, are you aware that since the team has gotten to Dallas, they've been to 8 Western Conference Finals?
Oh my!
Yeah, they've been very successful.
Yeah, and 3 Stanley Cup Finals. So 8 Western Conference Finals appearances and 3 Stanley Cup Finals appearances as well. You've got the 1 win, you've got the 2 losses, but then also 8 Western Conference appearances. So, but right now, there was a gap in between. There was the Modano era, obviously, that started that off, and they had a good run there. And then a bit of a gap where the team was kind of rebuilding, restructuring, finding its way. But in the current iteration, this current era, this team has been to Stanley Cup Finals during the pandemic bubble, but then also 3 straight Western Conference Finals. This is the second kind of golden era for the Dallas Stars hockey of being in contention. You're in the mix, Final Four. That's good.
Yeah.
That's real good.
Yeah.
So, but I would like to see them break through. This would be a really good. I would love nothing more than to see this team break through and get a chance. But whoever they're going to play in the East is going to be decent. But we'll see. Who knows? Like, it's not a given, but at least now they have a chance to try. We'll see how that goes. Ham says, "Go Panthers!" Shockingly. Now, here's a question, Ham. I know you're Florida man, so obviously Florida man's Florida man. But I need a decision here, Eric. I don't think he should be able to claim all of Florida. I think you need to commit. Are you a Tampa guy? Because you were all Tampa Bay Lightning during those days. But then obviously Florida won last year. So, like, are you just bouncing back and forth with whoever's there at the time? Like, what are we doing?
That doesn't seem fair.
Yeah. Like, pick one, Florida man.
You can't have 2 teams. That doesn't seem fair.
Commit to one. Who cares?
Well, this is a guy who's messing around with 2 wives, his own and mine, and he can't commit to just one. So, I mean, what do you expect from the bum?
Complex, man. Complex.
I just got a notification. It's a confirmed Michael Ham sent you a friend request on Facebook.
Wow.
I mean,
he wants
deny.
You are denied.
Yeah, Jeff says yes, 2002. Thank you, Jeff. Could have had original 6 Stanley Cup final in 02. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because if 02, I'm just trying to remember. If Toronto beats Carolina, obviously they're in the final. Who was in the West? Who did Carolina play? You know what? You're right. It would have been one of the Western Canadian teams. Because 2002 would have been because Carolina. Who did Carolina beat in Stanley Cup?
Wow, who knows? That's a long time.
Yeah, 2002 Stanley Cup final. It was Carolina and Detroit.
Detroit. Wow.
Yeah, so this is the one where Carolina got there but didn't win. So this is the one where Carolina didn't win. This is the one where they got to the finals but lost to Detroit. Yeah. So yeah, it would have been Detroit-Toronto if Toronto had been able to win that one.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah. So that would have been the original 6. So Ham says, "I like options." Oh, I bet you do.
Oh, shut up.
I bet you do.
What you doing, friending me on the show? Come on.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. What's going on? So what's the period? What's going on?
So right now we're at first intermission.
Okay.
First intermission 0-0.
Okay. Perfect.
Zach says, "Sound like me. Mad Ham won't commit to his wife." It's wild. Truly is. They were in the West back then. That's right. Yep. Detroit was that was the era of the Western Conference being like super tough because you had Detroit, who was still in the West. You had Colorado, who still had a powerhouse team, and Dallas had a powerhouse team. So all those teams were good.
Yeah. None of which are in the West, so to speak.
No, yeah, for sure. But I just thought it was interesting that because of the way they structured it, after the fact, we go back and look at those late 90s, early 2000s teams. It's like, look, count how many Hall of Famers all those teams have. And it was kind of like, and these were teams that were competing with each other, and only one could come out of the West.
That's right.
Only one. So every year, whoever got out of it was a very strong team. You weren't getting a soft opponent coming out of the West.
No. And that's the way it was traditionally. Like I would see that, you pretty much could predict who was going to win the Stanley Cup. But of late, I don't think we can. I've seen so many
I think it's wide open. Yeah. We got a lot of options here. Even regardless of what our final, so right now we have 5 teams left.
Yep.
Regardless of what 5 teams we get, it's going to be a toss up. It's a very weird combination.
Yeah. And by all rights, like Tampa Bay should beat Toronto, 4-1 or something like that. But this has gone like they won the first 2, lost the next 3.
But see, Bobby, this is why I'm making Ham. We should make Ham commit. You had Tampa. We're talking about Florida.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my mistake.
Yeah, Tampa's also beaten Toronto. That's that has also happened
many times. Yes,
not this specific case, but yes, that has occurred as well.
Yes, it's happened with every team, so I can't even add it up anymore. So I forget. Yeah. Yes, sorry, Florida.
Em says, did Eric have his body dilated? I guess he's saying maybe.
His body dilated.
I don't know. Listen, Ham wants to know.
Something's going on in the dark back there. We can't. What's with the light on the? See, he can't see it, but your light keeps going light and dark.
That's the TV.
Yeah,
it's the TV. So put the light on. You won't have the TV.
I don't want the light on. I want to be in a dark room.
Well, that's.
Have you considered putting on a welding mask? That could be pretty good.
I'm very light sensitive.
Oh, okay.
Yep. OV Great Sports Card here says, I think Edmonton can edge Dallas. Possible. Yeah. Like they did last year. So it's total. Here's the thing. A Dallas Edmonton thing is kind of a toss up. Edmonton beating Dallas happened last year. And they're about the same teams. Dallas has made some improvements. So Dallas can also edge Edmonton out. But it depends. It's going to depend on the teams are going to have to come in with a different idea. I would not try to repeat what you did last year because the teams are slightly different. Not fundamentally, but slightly. But it can go either way, and either Florida or Toronto can take Carolina. I think Carolina's beatable. I think your Eastern Conference is going to be very competitive. I think the Western is going to be very competitive. I think what I will say, and this has happened in the Vegas series, I think LA is the one who blew it against Edmonton because I do think this Edmonton team is worse than last year's team. However, they are still playing well. And they're playing well right now, which is the important part. It's not about playing well in general, but they're playing well
Leafs,
at this moment.
Same way. Got some great players. I see the games the way they're played. Some teams play better and worse against other teams. Like the Toronto Maple Leafs will beat the best teams and then lose against the worst teams. You look at the regular season. It's just full of that stuff. And then you get to the playoffs, it's a whole new game. And we don't know what's going to happen. Will Toronto be able to take on Carolina? I don't know. They don't play well against them, I think, if history serves right. But I think Florida does play well against them. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, I think out of the East, honestly, Florida is a very complete team, and they're experienced. Right now, they have the experience. They have been, until someone proves otherwise in the East, they are the 2-time representative. They've gone to 2 straight Stanley Cup finals. This is an opportunity still. They still have a chance, and they're the defending champions. So we don't look past them, no matter what team is playing them. You should not look past them. They're the defending champions until further notice, and they're still playing extremely well. So it's like, I'd give them their respect. Philly Joe's here says, maybe I missed it, but did you make the Leafs baseball game? I did not. I made the choice to stay away from it because it was going to be a madhouse. I will say, though, Bobby, from watching the game on YouTube, I missed a barn burner. The Maple Leafs baseball team lost 16-15.
Ooh, wow.
They went back and forth. They're back and forth. Yeah, in extras. 16-15. It was a wild back. But you would have appreciated this. Apparently, so the first game, obviously, they did the long pregame festivities. For the second game, though, not nearly as long pregame festivities, but what they did is they invited a special guest to Christie Pitts.
Who would that be?
Informer.
Really? Snow?
They brought snow. They brought snow in to throw the first pitch. I'm like, you really brought snow?
Snow? He's pretty. He's still popular. You know, they redid his song too. Some Spanish band that redid the that song, and yeah.
In retro, if it had, like I said, if it hadn't been the Leafs hockey game hadn't been going on down there, or if it had been on the road, like let's say it had been on the road, I would have at least thought about it. But no, you're doing Game 7 at home. Nope, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not even dealing with it. Nope. That right there is a hassle and a half.
And Snow was on double attempted murder charges when his record broke back in
91, 92, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was hilarious.
He said he went to East Detention, where dropped his pants and looked up his bottom. So it's all in there, and I see people try to break that song down, and they just can't get it. I don't get most of it, anyways. Just saying, but I do know some of the things. He goes, "Born in." They think he says, where do they say? I don't know. Because he says he's born in Etobicoke, but the way he says Etobicoke so fast, you'd never get it, and they think it's somewhere in the States, but no. Or he's Spanish. Maybe he's born in South America. No, he's Italian.
I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, you brought in snow. Hysterical.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like, you brought in snow. Hilarious. All right, guys, do what you got to do. But yeah, apparently it was
Brian Adams. Like, come on.
Yeah, I just thought it was great that they did that, and then, they got a 16-15 game at Christie Piss. I was like, all right, hey, look, if you just want to enjoy a game, like there was a lot going on.
That's a hell of a game to miss.
Yeah. Like I said, I was at least able to enjoy watching it from this vantage point. But I will say, like, if you're gonna do a game like this, obviously I prefer to be at home and relax. But some of those bars have got to be crazy. I can only imagine the tension in the place. I saw actually one of the. I don't watch the news, but I'll scan a little bit on YouTube. And local news was all over. Some of the local bars were loading up on chicken wings, like super loading up on chicken. And like, bring the extra beer, bring all the beer, because good or bad, they're going to go through a lot of beer.
Oh yes,
and so I was like, all right, I like it.
Who doesn't like chicken wings?
So Billy here says, Leafs playing with some intensity tonight, boys. The first line needs to pick it up a bit. Marner was invisible. And so this, Bobby, is going to be my favorite thing. So valid points, Billy. My thing is going to be, if the Leafs do not win, what's the first thing that's going to happen? If Marner doesn't get like a hat trick or something, the first thing is going to be like, run him out of town, get rid of this guy,
offer him $8 million,
burn him at the stake.
Can I say something
about burning at stake? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was able to watch the first few minutes of Friday's show. I don't know, the first little bit. I was listening to it. I couldn't watch anything because of the light, so I was listening to it. And you guys had a question about how many players were in the Hall of Fame and came back to play.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gordie Howe, yeah.
And
Mario.
Maybe you guys came up with the all the names after, and I didn't listen to it.
We didn't try to come up with all the names. We were just thinking about two of them specifically.
Right. But you missed an important one in between Howe and
it better not be anybody from Boston.
Nope.
Please. Thank you.
No.
Al Gill? No, he didn't make the
Guy Lafleur. When Guy
Did he actually get in the Hall of Fame prior to his comeback?
Yes.
Oh,
Guy Lafleur came back. When Guy Lafleur came back to play for the Rangers, he was a Hall of Famer.
Rangers.
And had his new wig.
Yes.
Which he looked ridiculous. Everyone knew it was fake hair, yet he continued to wear it.
It's okay. Kept his head warm. It's Canada. It's Quebec. You know how cold it is now?
How do you know the wig wasn't protective? How do you know it wasn't vastly superior to your bike helmet?
How do you know the wig wasn't warm?
Yeah, I don't know.
He might have had access to advanced technology, Eric.
He could have.
Billy says, is that Eric or the Grim Reaper? Yes.
Yes.
It's both. Collectively. when you make a card that has two things. Anyways. Yeah.
I said something positive about Billy on the Instagrams, like on Thursday or Friday morning. And then I was like, man, I hope he doesn't see this. He saw it. It made me unhappy. Then I'm like, how do I retract a statement that I left in a Instagram post? And I'm not technically sound enough to know how to do that. So
I think
that was a
you can
tactical
delete
error
it.
on your part.
I
That
think
was a
you
major
can delete
tactical
it.
error on your part.
this referee is hurt bad.
Yep. Who would know the most vicious hit 13 seconds into the second period, Bobby, is the referee getting
Damn.
murdered.
He is hurt bad.
Damn.
Game's physical. Good Lord.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Billy. Do your thing. Okay, let's see how this occurred here. So Marner is going in to put in a hit. Hold on, Marner. Oh no, it's the Panthers player hits the guy hits him with the stick.
Yeah. Yeah,
Did
he
you get
hit
a
Looks like he got clipped.
Yep.
It looks like he got clipped under the visor.
Yeah.
So it
Oh,
might have
yeah.
clipped his eye.
So does the ref get a penalty if he's the instigator on a call on something?
Oh, they're bringing a stretcher out to him.
Really?
Well, if he got clipped near the eye, then yeah.
I'm gonna
he's
go have
gushing.
a look. 1 sec.
I
Yeah,
mean,
go ahead.
there's a lot of blood. There's blood all over the boards. There's blood on the ice. There's blood everywhere.
So you're saying he's getting elective eye surgery? This is bad.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, does indeed. Listen, if you got clipped in the eye with a stick, it's anything near the eye, it's serious. Could you imagine ending up having something sharp near your eye?
Yeah, I can. Thank you.
Just saying.
My guess is that maybe it broke his nose or something.
It's
but
possible.
I
I
don't
think
know,
it's more
but
the eye is probably the bigger issue. If it's just his nose, I don't think he's as concerned about it.
No, it looks like that it might be over near his right eye.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if it's his nose, it would hurt, but I don't think it's going to have his. I don't think he's.
Yeah.
You can kind of skate that off. But anything in your eye, you don't want to be playing with that.
No, he's a mess. So they're gonna have to get the backup ref out and everything, and because there should be a spare referee.
So what happens if we suddenly hear the theme music play and then the spare referee comes out and it's Florida man Ham himself? I think the fix is in, Eric.
Yeah. Now they're trying to scrape all the blood off the ice and clean up the boards and everything. So are they going to give the Florida player a high sticking penalty for eye sticking the ref? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I don't know if that's even in the rule book.
I don't know. We're about to find out because there's
for the record though, I must say, like, if I'm these referees, we need to talk about training. Like, if a stick is coming anywhere near, you're watching the play, presumably. So if a stick is coming near you, how do your hands not come up?
I don't know, but they are scraping that blood off, and they get having a hard time.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah.
Yeah, they're having a hard time getting that blood off. Ugh, poor bastard. Hopefully he just got, cut on the cheekbone or, the eyebrow or something. He's a couple of stitches, hopefully his eyeball is okay. Cause man, I'm feeling bad for anybody right now who has an eye injury.
Yep. Zach says this might be the first minute of hockey I've watched this season. It was only 13 seconds. Dear Lord.
Yeah, they're on
the humanity.
The refs are on the mic to Toronto to find out, do we give this guy a penalty for high sticking? High sticking referee.
It's a tough one, man. I don't know. Like I genuinely don't know what the rules would be on that. It's still a high stick.
Yeah,
it's incidental. Like it's not intentional because the Florida player is not even looking in that direction. He's not trying to do anything related to the referee.
But it's like you're gonna give Toronto the power play when they didn't do anything against Toronto? I don't know. It's a tough call. Now they're trying to get the blood off the boards.
So here's the thing. I haven't checked in on it. I'd be curious. Eric, how much do you think the tickets are for this Game 7?
Oh, my God. In Toronto?
In that building, like right now?
10,000.
Like, yeah, it's got to be something. It's got to be something wild.
Yeah, it's got to be like $10,000 for like ice level. something just insane.
That'd be one of those situations where you're like, hey, look at me. I got these American dollars. They're worth so much. Yeah, keep handing it over. But these are American. I don't care. Keep handing it over.
Yeah, just
You're gonna need more.
More, please.
You're going to need more.
More. All right, so they didn't give him a penalty.
Yeah, I think a little common sense needs to reign on that, because if the Florida player is literally engaging the Toronto player and the stick is happening away from it and everybody's looking in the other direction, I don't think there's any infraction there.
Yeah,
it's a serious injury, but it's not an infraction.
Yeah, I mean, unless you angrily attack a referee, I don't think you should be penalized for injuring them.
Yeah. So Sadler here, I've got 1917 in the second. 1917. That's what I see currently. I
just hit that.
Okay. So that means right now I'm watching this on a stream feed. I have Sportsnet as part of my cable package, so I can watch the game streaming, no problem. So all rights on that. So that's literally what I put on the other monitor here.
I think you're about 3 seconds ahead of me.
It's not too bad. It's good. Sometimes the streaming is a little bit backed up. Found a Yo-Yo Matey stream. Yo-Ho Matey stream. There you go. The Pirates. The pirate life for you. Fair enough. I'm in Canada and I have my cable package as part of my condo fee, so it's included. So it's all good. Zachary says, starting to see the Thunder Western Conference Finals prices. Breaking news, I'm not going. That's another one that'll require keep handing over money. More money.
More, please.
More cash.
No. I'll tell you, you know what's going to be the most expensive? Knicks. Knicks beat the Celtics.
Madison Square Garden, and
for the Knicks, who never make it this far, yeah, that's going to be $20,000.
Could be wild. I was speculating, Bobby. I was just kind of throwing it out there. I'd be curious what the tickets are for the Toronto game. In the Game 7, you've got here those have got to be some very hefty, pricey seats.
Well, my son has tickets. He's in the second tier, about 7 rows up, right at the 50-yard line. So his for repair are $770
for this round.
This round.
Are you talking about in general?
No. This round. Only in the playoffs.
For this round.
It went up. Otherwise, they're 100 and something.
Yeah, but I'm saying the resale on this has got to be wild. Like if somebody goes on the secondary market right now for the Game 7.
Actually, Steven is there with his friend Brian.
Yeah. Well, if you've got the ticket, $700 is a lot of money, almost $800. That's a lot of money. But if you're talking about, a Game 7 to go to the Eastern Conference Final, that's a good ticket.
Yeah. Well, he has.
So if you've already got the ticket, may as well. If you already got the ticket, may as well. But I imagine the secondary market on that has got to be wild.
Yep.
Yeah. You could probably get a hefty price point.
On StubHub, I think his tickets were going for like $1,200 if you wanted to sell them. So
that's not too bad.
If you scalp them, I guess I don't even know. People still do that. Anyways,
yeah, they do.
I bet you the Knicks tickets will set records.
I think it'll be crazy. Yes.
Next round, I think those tickets are gonna. I'll let you know the ticket price on the next round, and the yeah, we're talking. It's got to be 3 to 5 times for this game.
Yeah, it's gonna accelerate. Yeah,
probably
it's gonna be a big
2,500 for a pair. Where Steven is, just saying,
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking. So, Eric, this was years and years ago. During that run when I had the Toronto Argonauts season tickets. Part of it included, but the reason I got them was because I figured I'd get them ahead of time to get dibs on the Grey Cup tickets for the 100th Grey Cup.
Yeah.
Since it was the anniversary Grey Cup. I got the tickets. I paid face value for me as a season ticket holder, which wasn't too bad. I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was like $200, $240. Not bad seats, decent where I was.
Season. Mm-hmm.
No, that was for the Grey Cup. I'm talking about Grey Cup.
Oh, the one Grey Cup game, yeah. That's not bad.
No, but that's what I say. It wasn't bad. So Panthers 1-0. But when the 100th Grey Cup came in and Toronto actually made the game, and it's 100th Grey Cup, and it's all those things related to it, I could have easily gotten $1,500-$1,600 per. And I had a pair. So no, sorry, I had 3. I had 3 tickets, and I was literally telling my buddies, "So are you sure you don't want to go to the bar? I'll pay for the drinks." I was like, $4,500, bitches. $4,500
food and drinks, yes.
Yeah, like Bobby, $4,500. You can't drink enough to outpace that. I'm sorry.
No. fanciest
like,
drinks there still wouldn't be.
Yeah, it was like, I'm sorry, you can get yourself a fancy drink with a little umbrella on it. It's still not. I'm still going to come out ahead. Zach says, Thunder going sale this morning. I'll be looking for the heck of it. That's fair.
What
Yeah,
a
yeah.
snipe. That is an absolute snipe. That's a goal scorer's goal. That was no joke.
Yeah, it was a real goal. Paul here. Good evening, Paul. Is Stevie Wonder up there sleeping? He's hanging out with Aaron Rodgers in the darkness, man. OV great, and the collapse begins. I love the optimism. I love the optimism. Love it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Well, it's playing catch up, and the Leafs love to play catch up. They like catch up so much. I think they.
Yeah, that was a clean shot. Jones hit a wrist shot and got right top corner.
Oh my
Very
God,
clean
that
clean
was
shot.
a sniper's goal right there.
It's a Matthews goal, if he ever shows up.
That was a real goal.
That's where Matthews and Marner have to show up to this game at 100%.
Well, that's one of the narratives. That's one of the narratives coming out of this, because everyone's going to focus their attention. And like I said, the big thing is that Marner's a free agent after this year. So regardless, so at that point, there's no trading. There's not like you either re-sign him or he's gone anyway. Yeah. And if you're Marner and you don't show up, I would pretty much just take the first train out of town and just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah. Oh, there's already writers and Bruins bloggers that are talking about trying to get him for the Bruins, because we have salary cap room and all that. And it's like, why? The guy's playing in the biggest market in the league and doesn't show up. Why do you want to bring him to Boston, which is top 5 biggest markets in the league? What? Why?
Because right now you need to produce in the regular season. He can do that.
Yes.
Like here's the thing. Just be clear. Hold on. To be fair,
I just don't have the energy.
Oh, I think
to be fair,
I think you can muster it. I think you can muster one. I think you can do it.
I supplement.
To be
or not to be.
Fair.
Good enough. Yeah. I'll take it. So the point is that right now for teams. So here's where I think his market lies. For the teams that simply are not making the playoffs right now and would just like to make the playoffs, Marner is perfectly capable. He literally had 100 points this season. So if you've got a team, if you need a team who needs some offense in the regular season, the criticism is the postseason. That's the criticism. But if you're a team who hasn't even get into the postseason, beggars can't be choosers. At this point, you just need to get there. Even if you bench the guy as soon as the playoffs start, at least you got there. So you got to have something to start with. And if you got the cap room and the money isn't the issue, then you could do that. And if you get complementary pieces where he's not the focus in the postseason, maybe it creates some space for him. That you can't rely on him. The point is, in the postseason, you cannot rely on him to carry you or to be one of the main people. But if he's a secondary piece, like if in this postseason he's a second line guy and he's not the main focus, you never know. Some room might open up for him, and maybe he can do something for you.
Well,
yeah, maybe. I think Marner is he's the kind of player that he can't support his own line, but he could support somebody else on the line, like he does with Matthews. He feeds him the puck. He'll do back checking. He'll do all the other stuff. Will he score goals? Yeah, by default, sure. He'll score his share, I guess. But you need another key person with him. He's the feeder. He's the guy who feed the goals.
Well, we got Pasternak, so maybe he can work with him. And I think Marchand's coming back.
Yeah.
So
sure. So you think? Keep it up.
So that's the key. I think if any team is seriously considering him, I think they're not looking at him as a number one option. They're looking at him as something separate, and they want to see that.
Yeah. Well, he wants a lot more money too, so it's sort of like, okay,
that's the big thing. Yeah.
You didn't show up for the playoffs. Here's your $13 million. Like, whatever.
No, I think Boston is so desperate right now because they were, cellar dwellers this year that
there were a lot of cellar dwellers.
Yeah, I think that they'll probably
Billy's way ahead of me on the feed. I saw that. So 2-0 Florida.
Yeah.
2-0 Florida, man.
Man, you guys are way ahead of me.
Well, Billy was literally like probably a minute ago. He put 2-0.
Really? Man.
Yep.
The fall starts. Well, we'll see. Now it's catch up. Like I said, the Leafs own Heinz. It's just all catch up, and it's always desperation.
And by the way, that goal was on a rebound
from Brad Marchand. Was the first initial shot. I don't think he gets an assist though because Wall made
neutralizes
the save, right?
it. We talked about assists before.
Yeah,
you were away. Maybe.
But
yeah, it was last week.
That was Brad Marchand on net, and the rebound comes off, and in it went.
Yeah. On the rebound, I don't think there's anything Wall can do. So once that rebound happens, that's it. You could argue for rebound control there a little bit, but that's about all you can do. Once the rebound happens, that's done.
No, his defense should be there to clear it out.
Yeah. So that's where you need a little bit of help there, because the goaltender's job is to prevent the first shot, but then you need a little bit of help to clear it out because it was wide open. That rebound was wide open. There was nobody there to stop it.
No. So I'm not
Go
watching the game. I don't have obviously a TV here, but the Leafs get into the same funk. So what they'll do is the 5-man rush. Leave it for the defense man. Then we'll go 5-on-5, which is whatever. They'll get to the blue line, dump it in, and then on the defense, they all start grouping together and they leave the odd guy out in front. And it just seems to be so typical that they do these three things all the time: dump and chase, 5-man bull rush, and defensemen are somewhere else. They're in the corners. You got two defensemen on a guy. It's like, and then the third player comes in. It's just to get the puck off one guy. The other guys are floating around, so waiting to shoot it. So it's a full collapse if they're playing that way. I haven't watched the game, so I don't know if they're doing that. But if anybody wants to chime in on that, that's fine. Because it seems like it's the whole game they do these things. I know there was no score in the first period, but regardless. Doesn't mean it wasn't a strong offense or defense, so who knows? But that's so typical for the Leafs. It's like they fall in this same slump. It's like they can't get it together, so they just do the typical, regular run of things. It's I've been watching it for years, and it happens every decade with the different players. It's kind of funny.
Well, that's kind of that's actually one of the more interesting narratives here. What I want to see is if all these years and all these decades and they keep falling into certain patterns, and even though it's completely different personnel, it's like it's different personnel, it's different coaches, different everything else. It's like keep swapping out all the components. It's like, do you inherit the playbook when you show up? Is it the same?
No, it's Shanahan too. He's the GM.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm talking about all the way up management.
You got Yzerman and Shanahan. They're great players, but they can't coach or GM. So I don't know what's going on with these guys.
3-0 Florida Man.
Oh yeah, it's fucking. There we go. Total. Yeah.
So Zach says, "Do they fight in the playoffs? I need a fight. We might get one in a minute here." Billy, do the Leafs realize they're playing at home? That's why. Not supposed to keep losing game 7s at home ice.
No.
But that's what they do.
Yeah.
Paul says, first period Toronto won the second half of the period. Second period first goal was legit. Second one feels like a funeral. Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Now here's the question. We talked about it earlier. So Eric, $1 trillion for a game 7 ticket. So Eric, this is why I avoided this area. I said I'm not being anywhere near there during any of this nonsense.
Yeah.
It's like you paid $100 trillion for your ticket for game 7, and now it's 3-0. You're going like, do you stay or do you go? It's the second period. It's halfway through. It's literally at the halfway point of the game.
I mean, the other night when it was 6-0, the place emptied out.
Yeah. So, but that's what I'm getting at. Right now, it's 3-0. Right now, I'm showing. Obviously, some folks are ahead of me, but I'm at 10:21 in the second. I'm 10:21. So almost exactly the halfway point of the game, almost identically, with 30 minutes remaining. 3-0.
Yeah.
Do you stay or do you go?
You go.
You
beat the traffic. You get home, watch the final, and have a nightcap. Go to sleep. Wake up the next day.
No, I'd stay.
Business as usual for the Leafs.
No, Eric, your argument would be like, I paid $1 trillion for these tickets.
Yeah.
God damn it.
All right. So, Carlos,
I'm staying no matter what.
Carlos, what time do you have right now?
10:06.
All right, that's what I have. Going into a commercial, right?
Right now, I'm getting some replays, but yeah. I think we got different feeds, but it looks like your feed is pretty closely tuned with mine. It's just hit commercials now, and now I got Keanu Reeves. So there you go.
Oh, I got the Geico Gecko.
Oh, I like the Geico Gecko.
Yep.
He's
It was
fun.
over when Florida scored the first ham. Billy is a proper Leafs fan. Defeatist. Defeatist to the last.
Yeah.
It was over when they dropped the puck.
Yeah.
They had us beat.
And they came
It was
in the
over
first round.
pre-game.
Mhm.
Carlton the Bear gave up. He threw in the white towel.
Oh yeah, Carlton the Bear, the big mascot. We once
I got
had a
him in the corner.
beaver
He's
as a
right there.
mascot.
Eric, I got him in the corner. He's right there. He's
Really?
staring at everybody with his eyes, with his beady dark eyes.
Yeah, it's funny, hockey doesn't really have too many mascots, but we did have a beaver in the 50s or early 60s. As a mascot. Silly stuff.
Well, the thing is, like, if your nickname is the Toronto Maple Leafs, what kind of a mascot should you have anyway?
I don't know. Like a
That's
tree.
what I mean. Like this is what I'm trying to get at.
Maple
Like
syrup. I don't know.
the bear is just
lumberjack.
as good as anything because honestly, I wouldn't want to have a gigantic anamorphic leaf. You want a leaf man walking around?
No, you should have like maybe a lumberjack. I don't know.
guess so. Chops down the tree, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
even
right.
know.
That would be apropos for the Leafs. Yes.
Yeah.
The lumberjacks coming. The Leafs will fall.
Zachary says, when I was a kid, my dad made us steal till the last second. Listen, man, I'm not even joking. I'm posing the question legitimately. Let me ask the chat. I am curious. I want to know. Do you, if you paid good money for this ticket, like you paid good money, do you stick it out just to be like, you know what? I'm here. I already paid for it. Like I might still be drinking my beer at this point. Like it's literally halfway through the second. Like, do you try to just get your money's worth out of it that I can and just deal with it?
I'm not leaving.
Because if you're trying to beat traffic, then you may as well leave now. But realistically, what's your play?
The hopes of the Leafs are always there. So, and right to the last second, most people will be there.
Not most people. No, most people will give up. But there will be definitely folks that'll stick it out.
Well, they might come back.
They might come back. No jersey burning tonight. CN Tower Inside. No, give it time, man. It's only halfway through the game.
Yeah.
I mean, crazier things have happened.
Well, literally, this scenario played out with Boston years ago. The other way, it was Boston. Toronto was up like 3-0 in the third period, and Boston beat them in a game 7.
I remember
that game. Yeah, like I remember that game. I saw it. By the way, Eric, if I find it, I'll send it to you. There was a compilation. Somebody was actually recording, like they were like at somebody's house and they were watching the Leafs game, and they literally put together a compilation of them watching Boston come back and then beat them in that game, and it was on YouTube.
I'm sure it's all over YouTube.
I was like, man, amazing. Paul here says $10 beers suddenly feel like $2. You wish it was $10 beers, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
At the Scotia, it's probably $30 beers at this point.
More than likely.
Jeez. You might need to use a kidney to pay for the beer. Mike here says, just saw you wrong. Please don't tell me Eric got hurt. Eric always gets hurt, Mike. Always gets hurt. Philly Joe says, I never leave early, stay till the end. Would like to see in person the series ending handshake in person. There you go. Just getting some input. Curious how the rest of you feel about that. Like I said, that's why I gave you the scenario. If you paid top dollar for it, I'd almost feel duty bound to be like, look, I paid for this. I don't care if they lose 14-0. I paid for this shit. So like, I'm not leaving halfway through and losing half my money without getting a complete game out of it. And then you know what, Eric? I'm going and getting another $30 beer.
Yep.
God damn it. Like, I'm sorry. I'm already too pot committed. I've already committed way too much in terms of time to get there, dealing with the mass of humanity, all the rest of it. Traffic is going to be miserable the other way anyway, no matter what. Yeah. So, like, I'm pot committed, man.
Well, you know, the funniest thing, if the Leafs were on completely, like Matthews, Marner's producing, everybody else is doing a good job, they might have a chance for the Stanley Cup. Otherwise, they have no chance. You know, you see the way they played a lot of the games, and they get into this, I think this rut, because I can't see the game, I think it's the same rut that I see all the time. It's the get to the blue line, dump and chase, don't carry it over, don't set up plays, don't take shots on net. What are the shots on net, Eric? Can you see that, read that now?
It's a commercial right now, Bobby.
Oh, okay. You weren't following it. So
I can tell you how much a month it is to lease an Infinity.
Oh, how much is it?
it changed. Now it's
And
now it's cell phones.
I think even, watching the Leafs play the regular season, and I watch mostly the highlights, actually. I don't watch a lot of the games fully. You can tell they're not a Stanley Cup team, and we know that. But everybody has a chance in the playoffs because it becomes a new season. But when they get into this funk, and I don't know how many different games they went into this funk, and obviously the last 3 games they went into that funk. One game was a little bit closer than the others, but it sounds like they're in that funk right now, and getting out of that, it's so hard. It's so hard because they're desperate, right? Desperate to let's just shoot it in and let's skate in and get all tired out and hit the guy and try to fight for the puck. And it's just like it's a loser way of playing hockey.
But how did they win on Friday? I couldn't watch the game because of my eyes. I mean, they obviously did. They did. I mean, they're in Florida.
Yeah.
And they pulled out the win. What did they do different?
Everybody shows up. It's like a different game every time. It's just you never know when they're going to show up and play and when they're not. It's unpredictable. It's actually sad in a certain sense. You sit there and go, what happened? They did so well last game. Where are they this game? Things happen with people. I don't know.
So I'll answer that a little bit because I did catch some of the extended highlights. I watched some of the highlight, but I also watched some of the breakdowns. Some different YouTube guys are very good at breaking down certain pieces. The answer really, Eric, is it's the old-fashioned thing that I talk about hockey because we like to talk about skill and all that, but in the playoffs, most of the time it's just effort. If you literally so what they did is a lot of them were basically blocking a ton of shots. Like Florida was getting their shot attempts, but they were blocking a lot of those shots. So basically that rebound that happened didn't happen in the last game. Those things were not occurring because the team was literally they're literally going, no, and all over for the entirety of the game. And if you do that for the entirety of the game, then the likelihood is that's going to help your goaltender. That's going to keep goals off of the board. And guess what happens? Sometimes you win.
Yep. What's the shots on goal?
So right now it is 21-8.
Wow.
This period it's 13-1. So that's kind of the answer. It's 13-1 in this period right now.
Yeah.
And that right there in a nutshell is your differentiator.
So they're doing the dump and chase. They have to be doing that because that's why they never get shots on goal. Or they overpass when they do have command in their zone and they pass it 16 times and don't take one shot. And that's what they're doing. And that's why they're losing.
And I believe it was 7-7 in the first period. So this is obviously the second period.
It was.
Which means they've had one shot in the second period.
Who went in the dressing room?
Yeah, almost 13 minutes in. Yeah.
One shot.
So Every Great Seer says, at least Eric only has to witness half the pain with bum eyesight. Yes.
Yeah.
Sadler here. I watched a 10-hour race completely live in my person just for the team to get DQ'd for the win on a cool down lap. It's unfortunate.
Wow.
Yeah, Philly Joe's Philly Joe here shots 27-8. So it looks like it gets worse here. We're a little bit of a delay compared to him. Florida played bad on Friday. I don't think they did. I honestly think Florida played like a team that had the luxury of being able to lose a game, but at the same time, okay, here we go. Philly Joe, 21-8. Okay, blame my glasses. Oh. Hey, Eric. Hey.
Yeah,
Eric caught that. Wow.
Get LASIK.
Yeah. It's a Florida in the second period. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. Really, what it comes down to, like I said, we'd love to tell you that hockey's that complex. It's not. A lot of times, there are talented
the player
players
interviews in between periods. It's pretty simple. They got the best of us, and we're just going to come out and try harder next day. It's the same thing. Everybody says the same thing.
In reality, the strategy from the coaches is the same.
Basically,
what's the coach going to say? The coach is going to say, cut down on rebounds. Make sure you keep the puck out of the net. Don't overdo it. Shoot it on net. Send somebody in. They'll literally say it over and over again.
I want Ruby to come out and be like, "This is fucking embarrassing," and I got a team full of pussies. And then light a fire under their ass, so they come out in the third period. Like
they make too much money to care about that.
I think you're right. I don't think these guys.
I think it's a very small.
You can't talk to me like that. Do you know who I am?
Yeah, my Sub-Zero fridge is coming tomorrow. So hey,
yeah,
I need that extra time.
But
listen, Sub-Zero fridge, Bobby.
They need Berube
7
to
grand
just
minimum.
call him out
Yeah.
and go ape shit on him.
I know. Well, I don't even think that really helps. You got to, and this is exactly what Carlos says. It's effort. They're obviously not putting the effort in the second period as they did the first. What happened? What changed? Did they have a bad,
Florida? So Florida knows how to. Florida knows how to turn it on and turn it off. So here we go. So Billy says Florida definitely didn't have this hustle on Friday. That's why I said, Billy, that Florida has the luxury of not caring. They were able to look. They were willing to kind of cruise into Game 6 and try to win the game, but it was a 2-0 game. So if they put in, and again, Toronto was able to block some shots, which prevented it. But Florida wasn't stressing it because it's Game 7 in Toronto, so like automatic win. So what are you worrying about?
They
just go to Toronto and win the
second
game.
Period. They're there for the first period, fell apart in the second. So we got the third period to come back or fall apart again, or go completely 7-0, 8-0, something.
There is something to be said for a team that has gone to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 consecutive games, has plenty of experience being up, being down, going through. Last year, the Florida Panthers team, the majority of who players are still on this team right now, went up 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Edmonton stormed back to go to a Game 7, and they still won. Yeah. And they still won. And Florida still won in the end. So it's like
they're teasing.
Yeah. So they have the ability to be like, oh, you know what, guys, we've literally already been here before. We've been here in the highest leverage version of this. It's fine. Game 7, don't worry about it.
Sit back. It's the Leafs.
Yeah. Just go do your – but literally the coaching staff of Florida has got to be like, hey, guys, do your job. Do your job.
Yep.
Do your job. That's it. Easy. So, like, they understand the gravity of the situation and elevate their play accordingly.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think Toronto saw all the blood from the referee, and it made them sick to their stomach, and they're just traumatized. And Florida, a bunch of animals, and they saw the blood, and they're like a bunch of sharks in the water.
There you go.
Crocodiles.
Billy says, "Don't understand why people are paying thousands of dollars for Austin Matthews cards. Don't get it. Well, tell Eric to stop."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, you won't see them tomorrow.
Just saying.
I honestly don't think there's one, not even a base card of Austin Matthews in my house.
Don't think isn't no.
No, I don't.
Well, I he doesn't open product, so I don't know how we would get one.
No,
unless he bought the single, there'd be no.
No,
occasion.
I don't think there's even one base card, 25-cent Austin Matthews base card in my house.
Yeah, everybody's getting Austin Matthews, but he's got to win a Stanley Cup, sort of much like McDavid. They need that Stanley. He needs a Stanley Cup in his career, and he's in a good position right now to do that. Austin Matthews maybe still is. I doubt it, but that'll only solidify his career. Like the way the Leafs go.
All right. Can you see Justin Bieber?
The cup, huh?
Do you see this fool, Justin Bieber?
Yes.
Not at the moment.
No.
Oh,
I assume they put him on the screen.
Yeah, and he is dressed like one of the members of Devo from the 80s.
Really?
So you're saying you're jealous?
I'm saying he's an idiot.
Whip it good.
I'm saying that he is just a ridiculous little human being.
It's all Diddy, man.
All right. So right now, 4-0 pending the review of the goal.
Oh. You might as well just call it a goal because it's over.
We'll see. So over Gray here says only the ref is going to leave his blood on the ice for this game. That's true.
Maybe.
Billy says Marner yelling at the bench to wake up is priceless. He's the one who needs to wake up. Listen, man, he is going to wake up. He's going to wake up in a bed somewhere else and be like, all right, so next season, where are we going?
Mm-hmm. Well, they drew first blood.
Yeah. 4-zip, but maybe waved off. We'll see here. I like Sadler fan. F's in the chat. F's in the chat. A goal interference. We'll see. Philly Joe says that was pathetic. There you go. So let's see. Let's see what happens. I'll see what the call is.
Or is it under review?
Right now it's 4-0 pending the review. It's we're looking at seeing if there is basically the Florida player went into wall is kind of the goal goes in. So I guess it depends on what you want to call there.
Yeah, it really depends on the timing and why.
But he was also pushed in by a Toronto player. So
yeah, that's kind of what I would say. Like,
so it'll be
the replay will kind of determine like what you want to call it.
But some people get a big jump on that, so he could have escalated a little further, but he still would have hit the goalie. So who knows? I got to see those things to determine.
So that's why I'd be kind of curious to see. Like, the point is, though, I will say,
what time do you have? What time?
I got 4:59. 4:59 is what I got.
That's what I got.
Yeah. So right now it's right now the clock is stopped pending review. Oh, here's what's interesting.
Oh,
it looks like the puck goes in because the Florida player is, as he's sliding, the skate kind of kicks it in.
But it's not a
Florida player.
Yeah, but it's not a direct kicking motion, so that would count.
No, I understand, but like it's literally his body and it's his skate.
Yeah,
he's literally sliding across the ice and his skate is pushing it.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it. I'll leave it to them. Toronto is getting the
It doesn't matter.
Footage, so
it's 3-0. It's 4-0. It's like whatever. How much time is left in this period?
4:59.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely pushed in with the skate, but it's not a direct kicking motion. He's sliding and the skate's under his the puck's under his skate, so he didn't kick it.
Looks like they're saying no. Right now I'm still seeing 3-0 and the clock's restarted.
Yeah.
Brandon Ryan here says, is that Corey Hart or Eric? He wears the sunglasses at night.
He does.
But he says, poor Greg Berube. Every coach that comes to Toronto loses their reputation as a good coach.
But everybody said Berube's, he's going to be like, yeah, whatever. You're going to have the players. I think really putting the teams together, you need players that play well together and that they play like a team. I see too much individuality out there with the Leafs and a few other teams out there. It's just, you got to have that team. I remember Detroit, back 15, 20 years ago. Nobody on the team played like a team, like unbelievably. Passing, it was just like, wow, watching them play, it was just amazing. Just the way it goes, man. Either you have the players or you don't. Either you have the team or you don't. Those little teams that come out of nowhere and they just play no superstars and they just win because they're in sync with each other. I don't think the Leafs are in sync with each other. Well, some periods they are and some periods they're not. So I don't know.
Yeah. So there we go. I'll read a couple here. Dan here is asking a good question. How does this rate in Leafs disappointment in history? So Dan, I will refer you to me. Now, again, for full disclosure, Eric is a Boston Bruins fan and man who hangs out with Aaron Rodgers in the darkness. So remember, this is an important caveat.
I believe in a thing called love.
That's correct. Bobby is a self-hating Leafs fan, so he's got that going for him. And I am a person who cackles at Leafs misfortune. So with all these caveats given, in my opinion, though, living in this area and listening to a lot of sports radio growing up as a lot of these things happen, I think the Boston Game 7, Eric, I believe it was 3-0 in the third period. Boston comes back in a Game 7, down 3-0. The Leafs were winning 3-0. Boston comes back to force overtime, and then Boston wins Game 7 in overtime. So compared to that, frankly, this is super low. Like, this isn't even rank.
If I remember right, Bergeron scored, Horton scored to tie it. Or was it Horton first, then Bergeron to tie it?
Well, you're the Boston Bruins fan. I don't remember
the order. And then Bergeron scores again.
I saw the game, but I don't remember the order.
I think it was Horton. Bergeron ties it with seconds to go.
Eric, as far as I'm concerned, it was Hal F. and Gill scoring all the goals. That's how I remember.
No, it was Hal F. and Gill scored all the goals.
Yeah.
Okay. I got one word answer for Dan. It's just typical.
Yeah. But that though is a telling answer to Bobby. My opinion remains that no, this would be a disappointment. But like in terms of the overall, like we rank disappointment, this is pretty low. It's not really that devastating compared to like they've lost Game 7s. They've lost Game 7s badly. And they've lost Game 7s that force overtime. And like there's been a bunch
this is actually, remember they won 2 and then they lost 1, maybe the last 4. I don't know. We'll see.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, in that particular year, the one where they lost that 3-0 lead in the third, I believe they had to win multiple games to force the Game 7.
Yeah. Yep.
So they were down in the series, should have been eliminated multiple times, had to win multiple games to avoid elimination to get to a Game 7.
Similar to this game.
But in this case, it was multiple games. And then they were the ones up 3-0, blew the 3-0 lead, and then lost the Game 7 in overtime after blowing the 3-0 lead, after winning multiple games to get to the Game 7 where they could have been eliminated prior.
I think it's almost
much higher disappointment.
It's the same setup. I think, maybe the Leafs won the first 2, Boston came back, won the next 2, and then the Leafs, and then Boston, and Boston. I think that's how it went. did it not? Very similar to this one.
Yeah. So I would say, if you want to talk about crushing Leaf defeats, no, this doesn't rank.
I would guarantee that when Patrice Bergeron goes into the Hall of Fame and they have a video highlight of his career, that overtime goal against Toronto will be in it.
Probably. I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense to me.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, but I would say it's definitely. I am looking forward, though. Like I said, for me, if this continues as going as advertised so far, I'm looking forward to the post game breakdowns from the local Leafs, because there's a couple of them. There's one, Bobby, that does it from like a local bar after each one of the Leafs games.
Oh, good.
And there would be like people screaming. There will be people who light themselves on fire. Eric, there will be people lighting themselves on fire.
Has anyone notified Vancouver yet to be on alert? Call the National Guard.
I think they're on standby, man. I think they're on standby.
Make sure the fire department, got their pump trucks filled with water.
Right now, Eric, it's only 6:17 over there, so it's still daylight. So right now they're probably still like getting all the their checklist.
I hope
they're handing out the checklist. Hey Joe, you're gonna loot, right? Yeah, I got the looting stick. No problem. Don't worry about it.
Yep. Okay.
Got the looting stick? Check.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with all this.
Does Canada have a National Guard?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay.
We call them the Mounties.
That's the police. That's different.
They're not the police.
I was going to say, Eric, look,
special
jokes aside.
Force.
Eric, just to be clear on this. To have the National Guard would imply that we want to stop Vancouver from rioting.
That's a good. Now that you're making a good points tonight.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see instead is that they're going to be like handing the torches over and being like, yeah, burn it all. Go ahead. It's an improvement.
To the ground.
Now, when Vancouver burns, does the whole place smell like marijuana?
You think, right?
Well,
marijuana and smoked salmon. Mm-hmm.
San Lucian says lots of Leafs fan leaving. Yep, probably. So probably a bunch of them surrendered at this
total
point.
Disappointment, total letdown, total waste of money.
I am noticing the lower bowl though still has a lot of blue. I'm seeing a lot of faces, Bobby. Like, I paid too much fucking money for this. You are staying in that seat.
It's only the second period.
That's what I'm saying. Like, like halfway through the third, sure.
Like,
halfway through the third, it's too soon.
Dramatically.
Yeah, and all it would take is like a random fluke goal.
Stand. Just let you know. In disappointment, this is the hope. Hope is the greatest thing and it's the worst thing. And the
Bobby,
Leafs love
would be Bobby. So we talked about the whole thing going into Game 6. I talked about with different folks. The leafiest thing for them to do would be to win Game 6, leading, of course, to the Game 7 at home.
I do remember.
Eric, as you well know, do you know what the leafiest thing would be to do?
Just to not come out for the third period?
No. Eric, no. The leafiest thing to do is to storm back in the third
and
tie the game
and
full overtime and then lose.
Yes, that would be the leafiest.
Mm-hmm. That's the ultimate. That's the, oh my God, we're leaving the seats. We got to get back. And then they get back, and then overtime happens. And then the goal is scored on some random bounce off the boards or something.
No, one of our own Leafs put it in the net.
That's what I mean. Like a random bounce off the boards. Like they're trying to do something and then it bounces off the boards and goes in. That's the leafiest thing. We got to drag it out, Eric, to the last possible minute and take it into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to,
what was the Edmonton Oil? Who was the Edmonton Oiler? Steve Smith? No. Who was the Edmonton Oiler that scored on?
What time is it technically?
Scored on themselves back in the 80s.
9:20.
Okay.
Who scored when? Sorry, repeat that.
Remember back in the 80s, there was an Oiler defenseman coming up that tried to clear it out of their zone and it hit Fuhrer in the leg and went in. And they ended up
yeah. That was during like the Gretzky years.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who the player was.
I think I actually saw a thing about that.
John Anderson.
About it.
He was that bad.
Yeah, it was something like that. But it was a thing where like I think it cost them that particular year.
Yeah.
And then
they were out. They lost that series.
Yeah, but then they did come back. Like he was a contributor later. He did contribute to some other Stanley Cups and kind of made up for it.
And they handed the cup to him. I think he was the first one to get the cup from Gretzky the next year.
So
sounds like John.
That's kind of happened. I think
it would be a defenseman.
It was something like that, yeah. So Billy says, cheapest ticket tonight had to be no less than 2K. Imagine paying that to watch this debacle. That's the question I posed. That's the question I asked, yeah. Oh, we got a Harvey's commercial.
It's not over, guys. It's not over yet.
Paul here says, a lot of the lower bowl guys either want to clap at the end of the season or feel compelled because they spent a ton of season tickets and don't want to go. Yeah, if you're paying for it, yes.
It's only 3, what is it, 3 goal deficit?
It is 3 goal deficit. The worst
period, 3 goals.
The worst lead in hockey.
Yeah.
I'd
like to have a microphone in the second intermission in the Leaf locker room in Berube and listen to what he had to say. I would pay big money, maybe more than the ticket, just to go see the game, to hear what he would have to say.
Eric, I would love it if Berube is like reading them the riot act and a bunch of the players are literally like this. It's like, so what tea time you got?
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I can totally get us like it in at 8 a.m. Oh, that's a little early. Do you think like 8 a.m. It's like, can we do like 8:30? Yeah, I can probably do 8:30.
Where are we going after?
Yeah, like, right. What do you guys want to have for dinner? What do you guys want? I'm feeling like Chinese. What do you think? Chinese? Yeah.
No.
Sushi rolls? Sushi rolls?
Yeah, sushi. Raw meat. Yes.
So Billy says Greg Mooney. Is that the one you're thinking of?
No, that's
not. Was it Greg Mooney?
No. First of all, there's no one named Greg Mooney that's ever played. He's thinking of Craig Mooney, and that's not who it was.
Oh, I don't know. God. Brendan Ryan says, crashing your bike is an excuse to watch a manual space is a new extreme. Facts.
Yeah, true.
Facts.
Got to do what you got to do.
What time left?
Well, right now we're in intermission before the 3rd.
Okay. I'll be right back then.
Go for it. Here's a fun little game I want to play, right? So I mentioned before, there's a lot of watch-alongs, obviously. It's become a very popular genre. I'm a fan of it. Obviously, look, I'm doing this because, honestly, it's fun. And I'm here anyway. I'll be watching the game regardless, so whatever. And we can kind of sit there and watch and bullshit at the same time. But here's what I'm curious about. Let me go in here and let me pull this up. What do you think? Because I follow some of the channels that do this, and I'm going to grab one. And I'd be curious what you think the watch-along is going to be for this Leafs game. Because when the Leafs lose, the watch-along tends to do better. The troll people tend to tune in specifically to watch it because they enjoy a good car crash.
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone loves a car crash. That's why.
All right. That's why here we go. I got it in front of me.
Sport in America is racing.
Yeah. So here we go. I got it. All right. So SDPN is the Steve Dangle podcast network. Those guys that I've watched over the years, and they're gonna have the post game on this is gonna be amazing, especially if they lose. All right. So they got their own watch along happening, right? Obviously, one of the more popular watch alongs in this genre for it. How many people are watching right now the Game 7 feed, Eric? I've got the page up in front of me. What do you think? What's the
this is one of the more popular ones?
This is one of the more popular ones, I would say. I would think so.
42,000.
Okay. Curious if anybody in the chat, don't cheat. I've got it in front of me. Don't cheat, but I'd be curious to get what you think. Now, remember, we're talking about the hockeys here. We're talking about a watch along where, by the way, you don't even get to see the game. You're doing a watch along. We're doing like what we're doing right now, but obviously they're more experienced at it. They've been doing it longer. And here, maybe this will help as well. They've got 152,000 subscribers. So the question here is this. I want to know, there is a very popular local broadcast network or podcast network that does a lot of Leafs and hockey content. And they do watch alongs for these games like this. I want to know how many watchers they've got for their YouTube live stream. That's my question. Eric went 42,000. So that's why I want to know what that is, what people think that number would be. Because remember, we're talking Canada. Realistically, Canada is going to be the majority of our viewership on this things, especially since we're talking about the hockeys. Okay, so Paul says right now 60K. Okay. I like how you guys are being very generous with these numbers. Again, we're talking about Canada because a lot of people could just watch the broadcast normally, Eric. No, we're talking about specifically watching YouTube watch-alongs here.
No, it's like you said, they want to vent. They want to go. Toronto fans want to go someplace and vent, and that gives them a podium. So
it does. So right now, I'm going to put it on here because I want to see the official based on what's going on there. So right now, it is just shy of 24K.
All right. Still quite a bit.
The last couple of rounds were like 10, 12,000. So obviously game 7, elevate that a little bit. And, like I said, a lot of people that would normally be watching this, that would be available for it, in reality are obviously they can be watching the game. They can watch, like I'm watching a live stream of the broadcast here, but this is the official network broadcast. I don't need a pirated broadcast. I have it included as part of my package. So it's just there. But you could watch in a bunch of different ways. So let's see here. Also expensive close-ups. Yes. I was thinking 144. Yeah. Closer. There you go. Leafs Nation, I'm guessing 1,500. No, man. Almost 24,000. 24,000 people. And by the way, Eric, that chat's going like this.
Yeah. They want to go someplace and vent.
Yeah, positive or negative. Like positive or negative, hey guys, it's not over. Or this team sucks. They're the worst ever.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's flying. That chat is flying. It's amazing. I really enjoyed it. It's pretty good, man. Not gonna lie. Pretty good. But I've enjoyed it. Like I gotta say, I love the fact that now it's become such a thing. And I love that even just in my random YouTube feed, Eric, like this is a random one here. This is not one that I subscribe to, but literally just going into my recommendeds because it'll show me some of these live streams and whatever going on. Florida Panthers versus Toronto Maple Leafs watch party stream. So same concept. Flying Fluffy Hockey. The Flying Fluffy Hockey.
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard of them. They've got 153 people watching. What does that tell you?
That
just people are into it, man. If you've got a hockey YouTube channel, you better be doing a watch party.
It tells me we need to change the name of this channel to the Fluffy Carlo Show.
Yeah. Well, Eric, honestly, if I change this to so you know how on the wrestling channel I've got the separate channel, I just call it BIC Wrestling. If I just call this BIC the Hockeys, trust me, I could make this work. It wouldn't be that hard. I just leave it because I'm Carlos because I want to. But if I made a BIC something, if I made a BIC sports cards or BIC sports, I bet you that would work just fine.
Oh,
yeah. It would play. Easier to type, easier to find. It would play. 100%. Yeah, it's very impressive. Not gonna lie.
Well, you should think about a rebranding then.
I guess so, yeah. Especially if I'm going to do more watch-alongs. Zach here says, imagine if you could get those people to come into watch-alongs just long enough to hit the like. Yes.
That's not nice.
Hit the like button so Eric pays.
Here I am, all, down on my luck, sitting here in all this discomfort, and all people want to do is make it worse for me.
Well, I like to think of it the opposite way, Eric. I like to think of it in a more positive approach. I think they've realized that you're a rich, bougie bastard who has enough money to get lasers into his eyes. So I think they're like, oh my God, this guy's loaded. He's got all the monies.
All the monies.
Yeah, not just some of the monies, all the monies.
It definitely costs a lot of money, let me tell you.
Yep.
It's one of the reasons I didn't go to Toronto for the spring show, because I'm like, I can't spend that money. I got to get the laser eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Los would be too generic, though. I think the BIC thing, you could make that work because it is just an acronym. You do a BIC acronym and then toss in sports at the end of it. I think it'd be fine. You could totally do it. It's easier to type. Let's just put it that way. It would be easier to type. You either want to go with something really memorable that people can memorize, or something shorter and a little bit more streamlined, something easier to type. I just like doing these when it's like appropriate. For the football, it made sense for me because obviously I'm watching a lot of football. For the hockey, like, I'll be honest, I'm not going to do this for the Stanley Cup final. I really would. I think what it comes down to is, I think the fact it's a game 7 in Toronto, I'll be able to see the bonfires from here. The Marner jerseys that are burning, I'll be able to smell them in the air, Eric.
Oh, yeah.
I can smell them from here. That's different. Zach, I don't hate Eric, just like Carlos Moore. He needs the like button money. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you.
Oh, Jesus.
Listen, Eric, I need some of that sweet, sweet like button money.
Yes.
I don't of us can live in the lap of luxury like you can.
Oh,
a man of leisure.
Look at me sitting here in the lap of luxury.
Yeah. We all know that you're keeping the darkness down. We all know you're keeping the darkness in just so that it is good for the skin. You exfoliated earlier. You had yourself some.
Yeah.
You're basically in a spa day right now. You're joining us from your spa day.
Yeah. There's a woman down here doing my toes as I'm up. As you can only see up here, but down there she's doing my toes.
Standard, pretty much standard. This is what I expect there. Billy says, wrestling card is the way to go, Carlos. It's low bill, but you get low followers. Yes. So here, you know what the funny thing is, Eric? If I just wanted to build up followers on the wrestling channel, I actually get pretty good viewership for those box breaks and things like that. So and it's done well, but it's like I don't necessarily want to be buying boxes every 5 minutes. That's a very expensive way to build a following. That's something I want to be doing.
Yep.
But I do enjoy doing the videos. That's fun. And like for me, I enjoy it.
What if you got wrestling boxes for free?
Could you imagine such luxuries? Could you even imagine?
And you could advertise for the company. I don't remember the company that does it, but you could advertise for the company that gave you the boxes for free and talk about how wonderful their products are and encourage people to go out and buy them.
On a completely unrelated note, totally unrelated, I'm shocking that it would even come up, Eric. So, non-sports correspondent Amanda. So I don't know if you caught anything from her recent live stream.
I again could not.
Okay. Do you want me to fill you in on something interesting? Something that I learned about while listening to this live stream?
Yeah, I wasn't able to do anything.
Shockingly, apparently, they did have their podcast last night. Sorry, I should say Friday night, Saturday morning. Okay. They did have their podcast episode, and I did listen in a little bit as I was winding down post Friday. And in the course of listening to it, apparently, Ian, co-host, Englishman co-host,
yes.
Apparently is going to have some scheduling issues coming up in the next cycle. So, what's funny though? There may still end up being a podcast episode that night because allegedly an AEW box might end up being open, and in which case you're going to need a subject matter expert, and I've been volunteered for such an occasion.
Well, that sounds interesting. I'm still not going to stay up all night and watch that, but I may watch it at a future time.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I'm not going to be watching YouTube content at 4 a.m. It's not happening.
Not with that attitude, Eric.
No.
Betty Ryan says hockey stick / wrestling belt logo. I think you could have some fun. You could definitely do a logo. I have a logo specifically for that one. I kept it very on brand with what I've done, but you could definitely have some fun with it. You could do some interesting stuff. Talk wrestling news and reviews. So you know what's funny? And I'm glad Billy brought this up. I have some of the best viewed videos I had on it. I stopped after WrestleMania 40. I'll be 100% honest with you, Eric. I can talk endlessly about the wrestling. Yes, and the thing is, if you do it, you can build a following. So Billy is 100% correct. However, let me tell you, the internet wrestling folks, you want to talk about some of the folks in sports car world being mad all the time about things? Eric, they're mad all the time about everything. If you praise a show or say, hey, this is pretty good. Oh, you're just a shill. It's like, you're an idiot. You suck. And it's like, okay, that seems like an overreaction. That escalated quickly. It doesn't matter, Eric. That has nothing to do with anything. We're literally arguing about entertainment. It's like you doing a review on a TV show and saying that TV show sucks. You're the worst. Die. Okay, that escalated quickly. I guess you're not allowed to have an opinion.
Okay. Well, the fireworks going off at the least.
I was gonna say. But yeah, so no, Eric, you're not allowed to have an opinion, just to be clear. You're not allowed to think anything's good or bad. Or else, if you think it's good, people are gonna flame you. You think it's bad, people are gonna double flame you.
So it's like marriage.
Typical, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just imagine you do it on purpose. It's like, yikes! Good Lord.
Mm-hmm. Well, coming to the close of the season, maybe.
Yeah. Ben Ryan says, might wake up tomorrow and Ziggy is rebranded the True because I'm Carlos. Listen, he's got to go through the whole cycle. Then he can be the True Neo, the True. He's got that going for him. Paul says, internet wrestling community is crazy levels of jaded. Yes, they are. Like I said, I had a couple of videos that did very, very well. And honestly, some people enjoyed my take on it, but other people literally went into full man, it's like Eric when the last chocolate stick is gone. Rage, infinite rage.
Hey, you don't joke
Infinite
about that.
Rage.
You don't joke about that.
Yes, I do. Build your channel, get some of those influencer boxes. I know, right?
Like after Jeff
Hashtag
posts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a
Eric
page on it
just
now.
looked it up. It was Steve Smith. Steve Smith.
I got the last name right. Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Saddler fan says the only nice thing with these Canadian ads, the generous use of rush. There you go. That is true. We do have a lot of rush.
Yes.
All right. So now they finally went to Maple Leaf Square here.
Oh,
well, Maple Leaf Square is still pretty well populated.
Where are they going to
go? Got a bunch of those.
Where are they going to
No, not yet. I think Eric. Look, here's the thing. What I don't think they're sharing here. Maple Leaf Square is still very well populated. No flames, none of that. But I think the reason is because they've realized that none of them have an easy way of escape.
No.
Because you're kind of in a fenced off area there. So you can watch the game and all that, but it's like, I think they just lock them into the cage like Thunderdome. And the people on the outside are like, was that?
Do you have to buy a ticket to go to the square?
No. You just have to stand there like a sardine and be packed in with a bunch of other freaks.
All right. I don't know why there has to be a fence then if you're not paying to get in, but okay.
No,
you got to cage the freaks in there.
It's not
cage the freaks.
It's one of those like I don't know, sort of construction kind of one of those lift up.
It's just a chain link. It's a chain link thing with the concrete bottom. Yeah, you can put it up temporarily. No. I can't remember. I don't think they serve alcohol down there. If I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so. No.
If they're smart, they wouldn't.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So you're saying that the two stands, the beer stand here, Eric, and the fireworks stand over here, if we put them beside synergies, Eric, synergies.
Yeah, bad combo.
True that.
Right, right. A second Russian any form. There you go. So yeah. So no, Billy, I'd agree with you. If I wanted to deal with the sheer amount of vitriol that people get mad because I had the audacity to criticize WWE. By the way, I ended up being right on everything I said. Everything I said was true. And I called it well over a year in advance, and I was 100% correct. It is all as I have foreseen. But they got mad. They got real mad. It was so good. Heaven forbid.
There's no holiday in the States, is there?
For Monday, I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. Is there any holiday upcoming here, Eric?
No, we got
tomorrow.
Upcoming, we got Memorial Day coming up.
Yeah, okay.
It's not tomorrow though.
Okay.
No, I ran a week auction and it's all ending in about 20 minutes. So, and the Leafs are playing and it's like, but it's all Pittsburgh Penguin stuff, so I should be okay.
Okay.
I got to put some eye drops in. I'll be back in a minute.
Go for it. Bobby, I think you're going to appreciate this. So I was laughing my head off. I ordered a couple of things that came in. And then on Friday, I was waiting basically. So Mark's has one of its 57,000 sales.
Yes.
I like the clothes, though. I'm a big fan of it. Like this is Mark's, and a lot of the T-shirts I have are Mark's. So they're good. So I ordered a bunch of stuff. It was all on sale, like buy one, get one free and all that. I'm like, awesome, great. Let me have some of that. So they ordered it. And then our good friends at Purelator, in their infinite wisdom, were supposed to deliver it on Friday. And they did the thing to me where it said, hey, we tried to deliver. No, you didn't. I'm literally sitting right here. My door's right there, you sons of bitches. Yes. So I've got no slip of paper. And they said they tried to deliver it. I'm like, well, then at least tell me when I can go pick it up. Like, you idiots. Like, what else to get? Nothing. Not even an attempt. So,
really?
But they're supposed to leave the slip. They're literally supposed to leave the slip.
Yes.
Like, leave me the piece of paper.
Yeah.
I have the tracking number or whatever. On Tuesday, I'll call if I don't see anything because I'm like, all right, let me go pick it up. Where am I supposed to go get it?
It's like when you're really waiting for something and that happens. It's like, you bastard. He was wanted to get off on the long weekend Friday, and he just said, okay, fine. I'll do it Tuesday.
Yeah.
He won't.
So like at the end of the day, for me, it's whatever, but I'm like, at least leave me the slip. Like at least go through the basics, put it in the mailbox, just drop it in there.
I'm at least attempting to leave me a slip without
if you're one of those drivers, at least like wave your arm in front of the door. Oh, I tried. I tried not. No, you didn't do shit. You did not do anything. Liar.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Memorial Day next week. Okay, gotcha. Is the parade officially canceled? Not mine. So, like I'm just here for Leaf misery. I'm fine. Works well either way for me.
Gotcha.
Looks like it's 3-1. Let's see here. I'm following. Oh, okay. Little 5-hole shot looks like got through Bobrovsky.
Who
All
scored?
right. So I'm checking it on the replay. I think it was Domi. I'll double check. Let me confirm. But
Doman's been he's been doing it this
yeah. So Leaf Square has revived itself. Leaf Square is alive. People that paid too much money for tickets are like, oh my God.
Another inch of hope.
Yeah, let's see. So let's see here. Well, we did mention, I said the leafiest thing to do would be to come back. I'm just saying.
Yes. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. We are used to that.
Here. Yeah, so I'm just looking here. It's 11. Looks like it is Domi. Yeah, it looks like it's 5-hole. Yeah, looks like a pretty clean shot. Just beat him 5-hole. Nice shot.
That he had the opportunity to shoot is actually a big surprise for me.
Yeah, so he managed to get himself a shot and fired it. And he did the right thing. Fire the shot. You never know until you fire the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Saddler fan says, here we go. Yep. Philly Joe says, let's go. There you go. Billy, 5-hole long guys. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, it's 17:42. So plenty of time in the third. Yep.
Why is this thing not working?
Basically, if you can get one more, you can make it interesting down the stretch.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, and then we pull a goalie. I don't like pulling goalies. I really don't. Not in game sevens, but they will do it. I know it. And they'll go with 3 minutes left. It'll just be ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, at that point, though, like they're trying to score the equalizer. They need it. You don't really want to knock it down the last couple seconds. So it's
but under a minute, yes, but not 3 minutes. That's where it's been lately. It's been going to 3 minutes. It's just like, unless you need 2 or 3 goals, I can see it. But 1 goal, no. Too much risk of 1 more goal going in, and then they still got to come back with 2, and then you're going to pull the goalie again. I don't know. 3 minutes is a long time in hockey in the grand scheme of things. So anything can happen in 3 minutes. Yeah. We know that well from the Leafs' history.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
You're winning 2 goals up, and
I like Billy's optimism. We might have found Bobrovsky's weak spot. We'll see. We'll see. It was a good shot. Credit to him. It was a legit shot. It was a good one.
Yeah, not many 5-hole goals lately. They're usually down.
Yeah, it was a clean shot. Like from the replay, it was a clean shot. So that's what you're looking for. No specific traffic or anything. It's crazy. Yeah, what's that, Billy? Shoot the puck. No, exactly. Like, here's the thing. Right now, Toronto's only up to 14 shots. It's like you're making Bobrovsky's night easy.
So actually, they got quite a few shots in the last little while then. Because it ended at, 8?
Yeah, they've gotten a few. All right, we'll see here. Looks like there's a response from Florida. So we'll see here. Oh, that's an ugly goal. 4-1.
Oh, God.
I got to see the replay on this one. That looks ugly. That is ugly.
The hope just takes it right out of you. Oh, my God. It's just horrid. It is. It's awful being a Leaf fan. It is. It's horrible. It's like I don't even want to watch hockey anymore.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I think it's.
I specifically stayed away from it. I specifically stayed away from it.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so that was a deflection, but not like a wild one. But it was a deflection.
Okay. Matter. Deflection, top corner, along the ice, pulled goalie. We got it covered. Don't worry. We are the Leafs. Do you not know?
The day happened while I was gone.
Couple of goals. They made it interesting for a second, and then Florida man is like, nope.
Yeah, I have the game on. I saw
a sense of.
I was like, I was only gone for a couple of minutes. Boom, 2 goals.
Yeah. Just like, we'll let you get 1. Okay, that's enough time.
Damn Florida man. Always that damn Florida man. Jeff says
I had to put the magic eye juice in.
You have eye juice. Mm.
Yeah. He does. What he doesn't know yet is it's just distilled mayo. Billy says, this effing team? I guess so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Paul says, Eric will be having wrist surgery next after discovering Emmanuel in space. Oh, Eric's discovered it. Eric knows all about the Emmanuel in space.
That's not very nice.
We've had enough surgery and replacement, so we're just kind of predicting, suggesting.
I was just proud of Eric invoking his inner Super Dave Osborne, discovering new pain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
It's always about new pain.
Yes.
This is
here you go. Career playoff points versus Maple Leafs all time. Second all time is Brad Marchand with 36 points.
Oh, my
Yes.
Oh, first is Gordy, 53.
That's a lot of years, decades.
So Marshawn has actually 2 assists tonight. That's what got him to 36.
Yep.
He's breaking records. Yep, it's a fancy graphic. Yeah, I think I don't think like unless Marshawn wants to play a bunch more years, I think a 17-point deficit with Gordy is going to be a little bit of a stretch. Gordy, mind you, the problem is Gordy's playing predominantly in the original 6, so they're playing Toronto all the time. So
right,
a little easier to score those points in that scenario.
Yeah,
and he was Gordy freaking Howe. So
and he was Gordy Howe.
Yeah.
Well, there's no joy in Mudville.
Well, if you're a Bruins fan, it is.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're gonna get a better draft pick now.
Does that means nothing? Where's
better than nothing?
Maybe
they'll screw it up. They'll draft the wrong
saying.
Guy. I mean, it'll be one more thing for me to bitch about. But right now, I'm trying to be as positive as possible. And if Florida wins
positive,
this,
Eric, what is this nonsense?
It's good for the Bruins.
I guess.
So then they'll screw it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening, Josh. Josh says, is Eric in the bathroom again? No. He's at the spa. He's hanging out in the darkness with Aaron Rodgers. Spa day.
I believe in a thing called love.
Well, spa day is more would have made
it. Yeah. Billy says, wonder if Stollers would have made a difference. Actually, I think he would have. He was playing well up until that point. Anytime you get your number one goaltender that you started with knocked out, Wall has been good for the most part. Like, he's been fine. But Stollers was playing extremely well right up until that point and got knocked out in game 1. So I never want to ruin the rhythm of something that's working for you. If something's working for you, you want to just roll with it.
It just goes to show you, in all seriousness, I know we joke about it, but how easy it is to get concussed and have a serious concussion, because he really wasn't hit that hard. It was really a fluke thing. And I mean,
a fluke intentional thing. I think the fluke was the concussion. The Sam Bennett thing. Eric, that'll be like me at Expo accidentally cracking your hip. Maybe. It was a total accident.
It wasn't the most violent hit I've ever seen in hockey by any means.
That part I agree with. That's fine.
And accidentally going to Montana is expecting a half-decent meal.
And to get a concussion so severe that he was throwing up immediately and out for the remainder of the playoffs, it just goes to show you how easy it is for it to happen. I mean, I just got yet another concussion last Monday, and I had a headache for a day and a half.
How many concussions have you had?
Oh, countless.
I don't even know if I've ever had one. I got hit by a car when I was like 6, 7.
You had one then?
I have a concussion.
Oh, you had one then.
Bobby, you became a Leafs fan. Are you sure that wasn't a result of a concussion?
Maybe that
you had one early, and that kind of did you in for years.
Mm-hmm. True.
No, when my head hit the ground on Monday, I had a headache for a day and a half. I mean, I had a concussion. I seeing stars, and I blacked out real quick. And
you weren't watching.
You go again.
So I'll say is this. So like I said, to answer Billy's question, I do think it would have helped because consistency. If a player is playing well for you, you want the goaltender in there. But I'll say this. I think the bigger issue, what I would say, my opinion, again, non-Leafs fan, I always lead with that. But if I'm just looking at it based on what I'm watching, you're getting outshot 27-14 in a Game 7 elimination game.
It should
be supposed to be this big. You should basically be at this point, like I'm being serious. If it was me and I'm sitting there like, guys, just put the puck on the net. I don't care from where you're shooting from. Literally, you need to put the puck on the net. You have zero chance of scoring goals if you don't have any shots.
Are they doing a lot of dump and chase?
Right now, Florida's dominating. They're not even having a chance to dump and chase. Florida's getting the puck back immediately, so it doesn't matter. They're staying in the Leaf zone. Like, there's no dump and chase. You can't escape the zone.
It's like the Leafs have a permanent penalty. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So right now, Florida is controlling because Florida is basically skating like a team that Florida is the one who's playing like they're down 3. Florida is playing with urgency. Yeah. They're trying to close it out. They're being like, no, we're going to eliminate you guys. We're done. We're done with this. We've played with our food. We're finished. We're moving on.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah. That's the mentality. That's an effort. So I don't know, Eric. Does that strike what you've been seeing?
Oh,
like to me, It's Florida playing like, all right, we're done playing with you. We're done screwing with you guys. We're attacking and attacking and attacking and attacking until we're done.
They're playing it like it's Stanley Cup final game 7 and the cup's coming into their locker room after this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why I say, like, to me, my opinion is simply that right now Florida has the correct mentality for a team in a game 7, and they're playing like it. And that's the differentiator. That's the difference between the team that's kind of posing and playing the role and the other team that's like, no, we've been to the Stanley Cup final the last 2 years. We literally know how to do this.
Yeah. Okay, 14 minutes left, 17 minutes left. Okay, 20 minutes left. What?
Okay. Zach here says, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, I've never heard of a player being rumored to sign with one team for this long. What's the holdup? The holdup is no one actually wants Aaron Rodgers.
He has to go to the Vikings. I pray every single day. I get down on my knees. I pray every single day. Dear Lord, please make sure he goes to the Vikings. It is the prophecy. It has to happen. Please, Lord, he has to go to the Vikings.
Well, so I think, Eric, jokes aside from Zach's question, I think the problem is that the darkness wants to go to the Vikings. I think he wants to go. The Vikings are like, we don't actually want you. You're a pain in the ass.
Oh, he has to.
You're too much of a pain in the ass. The Steelers are like, we'll take you, and then Rodgers like, I'll get back to you. Stay on the line. Stay on the line. And he's still trying to get in with the Vikings.
Oh, please. He has to go to the Vikings. He has to follow Favre.
Yeah, but I think it's Rodgers, I believe, is the holdup here. I think if he had just committed to the Steelers, this would have been done weeks ago. I honestly think it would have been done weeks ago. I think the problem is that Rodgers desperately wants to get the Vikings, and the Vikings are like, no, thank you. Please leave us alone, sir. Lose this number. Leave us be.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
So I again, that's just my opinion from observing it from the outside here. My opinion is that Rodgers has been trying to milk this to try to do that. The Steelers should have basically told him to go to hell by now, and it would have forced his hand. But I think that's all that's going on. I think the amount of teams that are interested in him is actually a very small list at this point. A lot of the teams just not willing to put up with the headache.
No,
Rodgers has been dragging he should have just been like, all right, we're going to the Steelers. Be done with it. That's it. I think if you just committed to them early, I think they'd already be making plans for mini camps or whatever.
Nigel.
I think he's older, and I think he wants to play in a dome so he doesn't have to freeze his what's off for half the season. If he goes to Pittsburgh, he's going to get most of his home games towards middle season and on, he's going to be cold. Plus any away games in cold climates. I think these older players start thinking like that. They're like, all right, if I go to a dome, half the season temperature controlled. And I can play better and I don't have to worry about it.
Huh. That's all fine and dandy. But I just think the other team doesn't want it.
Yeah.
It's like they're not interested. So
he's
it's
not
like
good anymore. And he's a head case.
Leave score yet?
Right now, still 4-1. Under 12 minutes.
How much time left? 10 minutes?
11:45.
11:56.
There's still a chance.
There is still a chance, technically. That is true.
Hey,
that's why they play every minute of the game.
Again, but here's the thing. The key is I'm a broken record here, but I'm going to repeat this. If it was me, I would be acting like I'm desperately trying to win this game, which means I don't care. Fire from weird angles. Just fire on the net.
Go.
Just shoot in the general direction of the net. Just see what happens.
Yeah.
See if you got a weird bounce, something comes off the ice, something weird. I don't care.
The shots are 27-14.
Still.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But
14.
you're not going to win this way.
They're not getting any shots.
Bobrovsky is an excellent goaltender, and he's proven his playoff capabilities.
He's good.
But if you're giving him under 15 shots, you're making his life easy. You're giving him an easy night. So it's like he's like, great, I may as well be on vacation and have a couple of days of rest before we go to the next round because you're making
the Leafs is like being on vacay.
Yeah. So that's what I say. Like, you got to make his life difficult a little. If you don't want to at least get Eric, the mandate from the beginning of this game should have been like, get 30, 35 shots in this, man. I don't care how you do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Fire from everywhere. I don't care, from weird angles. I don't do it.
That's
Just
what
fire
Florida's
away.
been doing.
Shots on goal, shots on goal. It's difficult for the goalie to either he's going to smother it or he has to give it away somewhere. And it gives you more opportunity than just shooting it around the back of the freaking net.
Yeah, just
Going
fire
in and
away.
flying in and tiring yourself out, and then you can't skate back. It's a stupid play. It works on some occasions, but the Leafs overplay that too much, and that's why they have no energy left to do anything else. After they dig, and then they just pass it out.
Sam Reinhart 5-1.
Oh, wow.
So Billy here says, so this is a question for you, Eric. Has Eric ever met Ken Linsman or Rick Middleton?
Yes, both of them many times.
Met the Rat.
Yeah,
I like Sadler. Super F. There you go. F's in the chat.
Oh,
F's
yeah.
in the chat.
They're screwed now. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Billy,
Everybody
Leafs
leave.
talk should be very entertaining tonight. Can't wait. Yes. All right. So
Everybody
officially
leave
now
the
we see
seat.
the footage. See, Eric, now the people that paid a crap ton of money, now they're running for the hills.
Yes.
Now they are. Now with 10:36 left in the third, down 5-1, now you flee for your lives.
Go take your Mercedes and get beat in the traffic, and you're good.
Yep. 5-1. You are correct. Leaving in droves. Facts. So at that point, you got to do it. You got to do it. Oh, Leaf jersey thrown onto the ice. We got to pause play.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, get rid of it. Say goodbye. Leafs suck. They have.
We didn't
great,
get to
they
see
have
which
so many
jersey,
great
though.
players,
Which
and they
jersey
just
did you
can't play.
throw? Which jersey was it?
Oh, whose jersey was it? Yes,
That's what I mean. I want to know. Eric, I need intrepid reporting. Whose jersey was it?
probably Matthews.
yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Great disappointment.
That's okay.
Well,
Shanahan will just say, "It's my fault. I'll take a raise." Yes. Move on, because
Yep, all the
I am
boo birds
Brendan
are out.
Shanahan.
As it should be. Like, come on.
The boo
You're in
birds
an
are
elimination game,
out.
dude. Yeah, chucking stuff on the ice. Yes, facts.
They should.
Yes.
Everyone should take their jerseys off and throw it on the ice.
They're expensive jerseys, though. They really are.
No, most of them are most of them people get the cheap $50.
Yeah, but they're $200 for
no,
the
the remakes are. Most people are wearing the remakes at $50. Don't worry. I see them for sale at all the shows. Hard to tell the difference.
It's like listen. I have a couple of jerseys. They don't have fight straps. They're like the next level down, and they were like $200 a piece.
Yeah, and you're a fool to pay that.
Well, it was years ago when I was a little more foolish. I don't buy jerseys anymore.
No. You can get them dirt cheap.
Now he spends his money on laser eyes.
I think so.
Much better.
Had
investment.
to offset somehow.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Good
Eric,
season.
we already talked about this on that podcast episode a while ago. The move, you see, is to buy your jerseys at the expo. Just
I know.
get it on the discount.
Next to nothing.
Get it on the discount. That's how you do it.
Cheap.
Yep.
I
Billy
haven't
here
bought
says,
a jersey. I haven't bought a jersey in a long time.
but my favorite part about that is it's a starter jersey. That means the quality is still decent.
Yeah.
That's what we like. Those were good. Billy says, missed the Storm and Norman Rumack days on the Fan 590. Now you're speaking my language, buddy. I was a big fan of I spent many a years, not in a long time, but I spent many a years in my youths listening to Fan 590. That was the sports talk radio out of Toronto.
Yep.
And let me tell you, Eric, after a game like this, if the post game show on a moment like this on that sports radio station, ablaze. There'd be like a 5-minute delay, Eric. We don't have a second delay. We got like a 5-minute delay after people like make terrorist bomb threats and like it'd be wild.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. It was quite the time. But yeah, Storm and Rubacks, Hammerhead Alert. I do remember that one. That was a good one. That was a good reference. Single tier, Eric. Single tier. That was a good memory there. Yeah, but I got to be honest with you. Like I said, for me, like I said, I lose nothing. I'm not a Leafs fan, but this game I felt was going to be fascinating. Like I was going to be so fascinated to see how this one played. And Toronto came out with Eric. You're going to get torched so hard for coming out with absolutely no life. Shot total is an embarrassment. That's an abomination in a game 7.
Oh yes.
Why even show up? Stay home.
from the drop of the puck at the start of the game, Florida just dominated.
Mm-hmm.
They ratcheted up to Spinal Tap 11, and you know.
Yeah, I'm so surprised that the Leafs really didn't show much.
The Leafs were like at an
7 shots in the first period, so that's not too bad. That means they weren't playing so bad. But the second,
well, in the first period, they were tied for shots. So in the first period, it was fine.
Yeah,
so they got there. It was okay. But then after that, it's like right now they're up to 16 shots in the game. So in the first period, they had 8.
Oh my God.
They have 8 shots in the entirety of the rest of the game up until this point.
Isn't that hard?
It's atrocious. And the Panthers are up to 30 shots already.
Yeah, isn't that something? Well, there you go.
They're getting outshot 2-1. So like Eric, I can't act surprised that the team that has twice as many shots is outscoring the team with half as many shots.
All right. I'm gonna tell you, I'm going to finally admit the truth. I think Florida's got this. The United States, as you know, are trying desperately to have a hostile takeover of the Canadians, and make and you know we've started with the propaganda, but what you don't know is that we sent in a special undercover threat. We sent Austin Matthews, who's from Arizona, is an American, to take over your country's most beloved team. Captain became the captain of that team.
Pause, Eric, pause. The Toronto Maple Leafs are literally not the country's most beloved team. Everyone outside of the greater Toronto area hates that team. No, you sent them to the most hated team in the country.
But the majority of your country is in Ontario. So it's still the majority of the country.
Eric, even in Ontario, in the school when I grew up, it was 50-50 at best. There were plenty of non-Leafs fans in the local.
Anyways, the point is we sent Austin Matthews it was the long con to go up there, take over, and then continue to just destroy your hopes and dreams to the point where you will just give up and become the 51st state. It's the long con, and Austin Matthews is going to be getting
the 51st division.
Now Eric, have we taken into account here
presidential seal of approval from us?
Now that's all well and good, Eric, but I have to say the plan has one fatal flaw that I see. Number one, most of the country hates the Leafs. That's first. Second, very important, the team that's doing it is the Florida Panthers, who are basically going to secede from the United States any day now. Ham will be their king.
Yeah.
So I'm not completely convinced, Eric, that you haven't been conned on the long con. The long con is a double con, where in reality it's just Florida wanting everything for themselves. And I wouldn't even trust Texas. Eric, you never trust Texas.
No, you don't trust Texas. No.
So you got Eric, you got your own problems to be dealing with. Do not even worry. Hammond's going to have a kingdom. He's going to have your wife. Your mom is going to go live with Ham in his castle. The Magic Kingdom is actually Ham's new castle. That's his new home.
I could see that.
Just saying. I don't think you want to. So it's like y'all outsmarted yourselves. If you had seen the Florida man coming, like I did, I warned you all about the Florida man. Like the Dutch, I warned you all.
We were warned.
Indeed. Billy Joe says, who's the Canadian team? I don't think at this stage in the game there is a Canadian team per se. I think if you're talking about the hockey playoffs, most folks in the country are willing to back these different teams. But I'm not joking when I say Toronto has more people in this country who hate them than like them.
Especially tonight.
Any night. It doesn't matter. There are people who would rather the Canada doesn't win the Stanley Cup than the Leafs win.
Seems so.
Yeah. So like they would much rather any of the other Canadian teams. Any of them. I would honestly, I would think because all the other teams have had a chance, other than Winnipeg, who came back later. Like I'm not counting them because they came back. But if you remember, like there was a stretch there in the early 2000s. Calgary had a shot. Edmonton had a chance with Pronger on the team. They had that one run. Vancouver had a couple of shots. Like one of the Boston thing was against Vancouver, wasn't it?
The Boston thing, the
Boston Cup, the one we don't, the
Yes.
one that doesn't count.
2011 was against Vancouver. That's why they broke
Yeah.
it down.
So that was one of the ones where Vancouver had a shot, Montreal had a shot, Ottawa got to the finals. This has all happened in the last couple of decades. Like there was a little run there where these different Canadian teams, almost all of them, had a chance at the finals, except for the Leafs. I'm excluding Winnipeg just because they came back later. So I'm just saying I'm excluding them because I'm giving them a break because they only came back however many years ago. So I'm not counting them as part of that. But all the other teams, both Alberta teams, Montreal, Ottawa, Vancouver, they all had a shot the last couple of decades. At least they got to a final. Even if they lost, they got to a final.
Yeah.
Raptors a beloved team, kind of by default, but yes. Yeah, kind of by default. That's the only one because it's the only team. If Toronto suddenly got back to the World Series, they would have a great approval rating. They'd be good. But it's because, again, it's the only team. But yeah, for hockey, allegiances are very divided. But I think if you're good,
I could root for Toronto. I will never, ever, 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 under any circumstances in this world, root for the Habs. Ever. I root that their building collapses.
Oh,
I do.
a noble calling.
I do not. I will never root for the Habs under any circumstances. Never, ever, ever.
thank you. We're so pleased.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just looking at the final auctions here. I got one bid on something stupid. That's why eBay sucks.
I'm actually trying to make a bid on a Brett Favre card on Fanatics Collect, Eric, but it's not. They're not helping me here. Jeez. Yeah, there's not a lot on Fanatics, but it looks like I'm not going to win this one. We'll see. Maybe I'll make one more bid, but that's probably it for me. We'll see. We'll see. But yep, I like to say it's a good game, Eric, but I can't say that. I think the post game narrative I think is going to be fascinating. I'm not going to lie. I am going to be fascinated what the breakdown on because it wasn't even competitive. If they lost 2-1 or they lost in overtime or something crazy and like it was right up to the last moment and they were in the game all the way through. No, they got smoked pretty much from the get-go here.
Yeah, I wish that I could get, TSN, because obviously they do a lot more hockey coverage, and go into it in depth. And but unfortunately I don't have it. I can't get it. So, or I would love to be able to. Actually, I guess I could probably tune into a Toronto radio station tomorrow morning, right? Through
Eric, if you were actually interested, the radio station is available online.
Yeah.
And trust me, the post game will be hella entertaining. So Paul, yes, the answer to that is yes. I think I'm good with this number. Like I haven't tried to do comps on this, but that is the one I was looking at. Calgary won in 89 and Montreal in 86. Yes. I'm talking about in the after 93. After 93, the teams that had a chance.
Yeah. That's
what I'm referring to. But my point is all the teams outside of Toronto and Winnipeg, and again, Winnipeg, I'm giving them a break. I think what's going to happen is, Toronto's the one that kind of lingers because they're the ones who have no excuse. Winnipeg literally just got back and Dallas had to fight Winnipeg tooth and nail to advance. They put up a good series. It was a tough fought series. They're still a good team.
They did not embarrass themselves, I don't think.
No, they were still a good team. They lost in overtime in Game 6. No shame in that. They fought. But it's this Toronto team is showing no fight. And, brutality is what's happening right now. Going up might be a good bet to overpay now. I'll think about it. I just haven't come up with a number that I'm satisfied with on here. The good news, though, I guess, is that there just hasn't been a lot of stuff. I don't know if this is the case here. I know you're not buying too much stuff on eBay normally, Eric. I found a lot of the interesting stuff has dried up lately. I haven't been too impressed with a lot of the inventory out there.
I got something in the mail. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I know it arrived. It showed up yesterday. I have to take a look at it, but I actually got something really interesting.
6-1.
6-1.
Yeah.
I got a Danny Ainge autographed, hard signed, in person autograph card, PSA slabbed, and of course Marshawn's the one that scored. That up, boy.
He wants to give you your draft pick.
Yep.
This is for you, Eric.
Thank you, buddy.
Speak well of me.
So I want to get the entire starting lineup, and maybe I'll even try to get the rest of the team, but I want the starting lineup of the 86 Celtics autographs. And I got Larry on a card. I got McHale. I got Parrish. Now I got Danny Ainge. I got to get Dennis Johnson next. He died early. He died pretty young of a heart attack as a coach for the Celtics minor league team. And he was kind of a cantankerous kind of guy anyway, so there's not a ton of autographs out there. And I have the lead of one. My friend Jeff, who's been on the show.
The Jeff. Keep going, I'll hear you.
And one of the, leaders in the set registry for basketball and the PSA registry. Jeff has offered me a signed rookie card with PSA graded and authenticated. And he wants a very fair market value for it. And it's a lot of money. And I don't know if that's something I am able to do at the moment, especially with getting eye surgery. So, but there is a DJ card waiting for me. I just got to come up with the several $100s to get it in my possession. Bill Walton would definitely be another one. I see a comment from Philly Joe. I definitely want to get a Bill Walton. There's a lot out there. I don't think they're very expensive or hard to find. So I think I could probably get a Bill Walton anytime I want it off of eBay. Getting the DJ card is really the hardest one. I was surprised how difficult Danny Ainge cards are to find and how expensive they are. I thought they'd be a dime a dozen. And if you go on eBay right now and typed in Danny Ainge autograph cards, there's not a lot of them. And people want hundreds of dollars for them. I obviously did not pay that. I got the cheapest one available, and I thought it was, that was fair. But I didn't think Danny Ainge was going to be super, super expensive.
Okay. Gotcha.
You definitely get a Bill Walton, Hall of Famer, multiple championships, top 75 players of all time. You can get one his cheap. But Danny freaking Ainge is going to cost me $300? I don't think so.
Hey, man, you should get a Danny Ainge on a signed baseball card. #Grail.
I would have. I just wanted his autograph for the collection. I ended up getting it with the Sacramento Kings jersey. I didn't even get it with the Celtics jersey. I wasn't
Sacramento Kings, eh?
I wasn't gonna pay $300 and something bucks. For him, with a signed Celtics card. I said, no, I'll take the Sacramento card. That's fine. That's an autograph. I got it. In the collection it goes. I mean, if I buy the DJ rookie, I think he was with Golden State. So
probably.
Or I forget. No, man, it doesn't sound right. Now I forget what team he was on. It might have been.
By the way, thank you to Philly Joe and everybody else that's been hanging around the chat. It's actually been very good. Appreciate you all hanging out on the chat. Again, I know for some of you Leafs fans, the game is not going the way you want it, but I'm glad you're hanging out kind of while we're BSing and chatting as well. Also, I figured I'd crack open the last beer that I've got back there so that I get some fresh beer. So salute to you. Condolences to the legitimate Leafs fans who feel bad about it. Good luck to the Flow Rider fan. Basically, it's Ham. Like, no one actually gives a crap about Florida other than Ham.
I do.
Yes, but you do for a very specific reason and for this specific moment only.
Yes.
Next round, fuck them.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm going to... I might just keep going because of Marshawn. I mean, I don't have any meat in the game, so I don't know who I'm rooting for in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm. Here you go, Henry here.
Might as well stick with Florida.
Yeah. So Henry here. I haven't seen your name before, so good evening. As an honest Leafs fan, I think it's high time we all admit the real team in Ontario is the Senators. Ooh, that's tough. What's the record of game savings now? 1-7 the last 70 years. The Senators run Toronto, Ontario. Ooh. Yikes. Philly Joe says the Sonics. Yep.
Yeah.
Was yours the $40 purchase, yeah. Eric? Was yours the $40 purchase? That's what Paul's asking. So, sorry, Henny. I saw Henry, but Henny. So yeah, that's a tough comment, but I appreciate you chiming in either way.
Yeah, $40 sounds about right for the Danny Ainge on the Sacramento Kings card, PSA authenticated in the slab. It was like $40.
Yeah.
I was like, how can I go wrong with that?
All right, so official 6-1 final, which is the same score as Game 5, actually. So it's like, 33 shots to 21 was the final on shots.
Yeah,
that's rough.
It's just brutal.
That's not much you can do with that. That's it's gonna be tough. So it's gonna be Florida taking on the Carolina Hurricanes next round. And then obviously the Western Conference final is already set, so we'll have that starting shortly. So that's going to be interesting. Billy here says, why doesn't Toronto go back to wear white jerseys at home? Who knows? They might actually effing win a game 7. Try anything at this point. I think at this point you should probably be like the Toronto St. Pats or just see if you can try anything else. Just go for it. Paul, here's the problem with Celtics cards. You run into set collectors and team collectors. Lots of guys want every 86th their sign. And that's his rookie. And yeah, that's $200 plus card. There you go.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't need it that bad. Let somebody who's more passionate about it. I'll take the $40 one. An autograph. I would have taken one with this Toronto Blue Jays. I fine with me. I just wanted an autograph for the 86 Celtics, so it worked for me.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, though. It's like you've got some options there if that route was available. All right, so based on the schedule here, it looks to me. So Western Conference Final starts on the 21st, so that's Wednesday, I think. Wednesday. Bobby here says, sorry, I went into depression mode. All good, Bobby. I understand. All good. Appreciate Bobby hanging in there.
Hey, Toronto went further than Boston did, so good for Toronto.
Yeah, have to attend to my auctions. All good. So it's kind of interesting. I will say that. So now we've got Edmonton. We can check later, Eric. We'll have to see how the second round picks went. I genuinely don't remember now. I know I went with the homer pick for Dallas, so I know I got that one.
Yeah, and we got I think we both picked Florida too. I'd have to.
Yeah. Well, I think at that point you have to. I think at that point we would have to have our heads examined if we didn't pick Florida for the second round.
Yeah. Tomorrow when we do the podcast, hopefully I'll be in enough shape that I can dig that out and take a look at it.
Yeah. As bad as the Leafs. Yep. So here, and I can say that the Brett Favre is still in play, but I'll see. I'll have to. The only problem is that you got to go to the extended window, and then as soon as somebody makes a bid, you go to another extended window and another extended window. It just goes on and on for a while. So we're not there yet. We'll see. I'll take a stab at it. Maybe this will be a pickup. I will say, got a couple of different things, so that'll be coming up here. I'm gonna probably ask for the ship my card stuff after the next couple of cards come in. Most of them will be over on the Wrestling channel, but I did pick up some sports cards as well, so that'll be kind of fun, including my little fun addition based on Dallas's current run this year, which we talked about. But we'll see. I was able to pick up one more Rantanen once I figured out how to spell Rantanen correctly. So,
yeah, right. Not easy.
I misspelled it so many times. It's the worst. It's actually the worst.
Yeah, not
but regardless, like I said earlier, I do want to thank everybody that has kind of chimed in. We'll hang in for a couple more minutes here, kind of a little mini post game, and then we'll call it a night. But this was kind of a bonus. This was a bonus impromptu stream. Unfortunately, the game 7 there with Carlton the Bear in the corner didn't do any favors to them. Hey, I tried, Eric. Can't say I didn't try.
Yeah, hey.
I did what I could. I even came up with a new overlay for them. Eric, the overlay is blue and everything.
I mean, what more could you have done?
It's not even my team, and I tried. It's not even my team, and I put in more effort than they did.
I think you did, actually, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Like that wasn't even a joke. That's a sad fact, but it's still a fact.
The opening 15 minutes of the first period, you knew who was winning this game.
Yeah.
There was no question after 15 minutes, you knew who was winning this game. I mean, one team had just unbelievable intensity, and the other one was like, "Holy crap, what's going on?" These guys, that's your guy, over there. It was like Toronto was in chaos trying to keep up.
Yep. No worries, Billy. I'm glad you were able to chime in. Like I said, my condolences. Like I said, I was able to watch it from the perspective of somebody who wasn't worried about it one way or the other. So for me, it was a stress-free experience. I got to enjoy my beer, got to hang out, so it was good for me. But yeah, I knew one way or the other was going to be an attention grabber. There's no way to know what was going to happen though. That's what was very interesting to me, because it's like you don't know, but then once they came out that flat, whew, nothing you can do at that stage.
Why is Billy just thanking you? I mean, I came out, I'm playing hurt. Don't I get anything? And I said something nice about him on the Instagrams.
Well, here's the thing, though. We're talking about a Billy who's a Leafs fan. This is not Cilio. This isn't Spicy Eye.
Oh, then I don't know who that is then.
That's what I'm saying. This is a different Billy. This is a Billy that's a Toronto fan. This isn't the Detroit fan Billy. It's a different thing entirely.
Then I don't know who that is, and I got a concussion.
There you go.
I had a concussion this week.
All right, so Eric. So there has been an update. So I've actually got the Steve Dangle thing, the SDPN thing. So obviously, as the game was winding down, the trolls roll in. So the number has increased. I gave you guys the number earlier tonight. It was 24,000. Eric, how many people do they have watching their live stream right now?
I'm going to go back to saying 42.
Okay, 42. That's a strong number. All right. Curious if anybody in the chat wants to take a stab at this. Like I said, we'll hang out for a couple more minutes and then we'll call it a night. Like I said, an impromptu bonus live stream. So hopefully you enjoyed. Like I said, it was just us hanging out. That's really all it was, just hanging out, watching the game. I'm not giving you play-by-play, but we did chat throughout the game and just to see what was going on there. So Paul's got 35K. Okay, that's a reasonable estimate. Curious if anybody else wants to throw it in there. By the way, also, I do want to ask you, before tomorrow, we're going to record the new podcast. And when we're recording the new podcast, we will have some new silly card of the week. So remember, Eric, if you haven't already found it, make sure you get your silly card of the week. Figure it out between today and tomorrow.
I'll do my best.
But I'll say this. I think we're up to 42 votes on it. So if you are here and you want to check out the channel, check out the community post. We have the 3 options are all there. So we'd love to get a couple more votes in so that by the time we go tomorrow, we'll reveal the results. And that'll drop on Tuesday. Billy Joe's got 42K. Billy's got 40K. All right. Some decent options. So I'll tell you, 32,000 is what I've got right now. Which, by the way, so here's the thing, Eric. No matter how we want to present this, I want you to think about this, though. We're talking about 32,000 people, more than what is in the arena, watching a YouTube live stream of somebody talking about the game because you can't see what's happening.
Right.
That's amazing.
They're watching the game on TV and then tuning into their phones or computers for the chat so they can bitch and complain.
Yeah, but also it's Eric. You got to admit, if you're going to watch the game anyway, that's the reason I do these things. If you're going to watch the game anyway, isn't it kind of fun to have kind of the experience of being able to bullshit and just go like, what the hell's going on? What is he doing?
Absolutely.
Or whatever the case. And I think that's what I think a lot of people like that experience without necessarily having to get crammed into a bar and getting charged too much for drinks and food. You got your own food. Like I can go to the kitchen and grab a bite, or I can grab my drink, which I did. So you've still got that option.
Is downtown Toronto on fire yet?
I don't think so. I'll be honest, Eric. Like the Leafs fans are very passionate, but at this point, I think the majority of them are just going to be very sad. I think the fireworks are going to go off in the post-game show. Those are going to be the angriest people.
Someone's flipping cars and setting them on fire. I'll guarantee it.
Yep. Oh, we'll see. The problem is, Eric, when they go to try to flip the car, then they're in playoff mode and they flip the wrong car. Oh my God, this is my car. Why am I flipping my car? No! Own goal.
I am a Leafs fan. I can't do anything right.
Go to 100K in about 30 minutes, maybe. Who knows? 55K or 1/3. There you go. A lot of people cut the cord, can't afford cable in Canada. It is expensive. It is expensive. That is true. Let's be fair though. Like we had earlier tonight. What somebody posted in there. They had a pirate feed. You can get a streaming feed for this. It's not difficult. It depends on where you're going with it. Sidewalk home. Yes. Billy says we have too much class for that. We're not Montreal, Vancouver. Well, first of all, too much class is a strong word. I think the majority of the people coming out of there are at this point too drunk to be able to coordinate their efforts this way. But you should at least appreciate that Vancouver will riot in solidarity. It doesn't even involve them, but they're in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I like to think that's a form of support-ish. But that's strong, man. Hey, that's really impressive. That's tens of thousands of people literally catching the feed. Like I said, I have the luxury here where it's built into the condo fee. I have the cable package, and obviously I can check out the streaming, so I can put it on the other screen here, be in my office, and still be able to watch the game and participate in this. But it is interesting. But yeah, I'm going to be Eric. I'm rubbing my hands together. This post game is going to be delicious. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be unbelievable. Wow. And the thing is, they'll be back again next year, Eric. New pain.
Oh, yeah. Same as the Bruins starting off at game 1. This year's going to be different. No, it isn't.
I don't even know. All right, let me ask you this. We'll go out on this one. I'm curious. So obviously, with the result being this bad, Matthews didn't register anything. Marner didn't register anything. So Marner, I think, is going to be if I do a poll, I think most people are going to pick on Marner because he's out. If he tries to re-sign with Toronto one way or the other, I don't care if he re-signs for $1, he'd be insane. The man needs to flee while he still can. He needs to get out while the getting's good.
Yeah, like I said, there's rumors that Boston might be his next landing spot. So, we'll see.
I just think for what he's asking for, though, he's going to limit the options that he's going to have. But my opinion, I think Marner's out no matter what, because like I said, he will be a pariah. He will get skewered. Like even if he has another 100-point season next year, everybody will be like, what about the playoffs? And they will be on him all year long. So why would you re-sign for that? You're going to take the brunt of the abuse. Matthews is going to take his chunk of the abuse, but he's also still got a couple of years left on his contract. So he did resign.
Yeah, and yes, he didn't have the playoffs that everybody wanted. I mean, he came through from what I heard the other night and scored, but when you look at statistics, though, I think Matthews is ahead of Ovechkin's pace, goal scoring. So you can't just let that go. You can't just be like, you had a bad playoff, we're getting rid of you. This guy statistically has a better goals per game average than the all-time goal leader. So you can't just whisk that away. But I would say anyone else on the team can go. I think Tavares is 117 years old. I think he should be done in Toronto. Marner, I think he should be the one that takes the majority of the abuse because it's easy to get rid of him right now and say, get the hell out of town.
His contract is over, so technically he can walk wherever. So he's gone.
So bye-bye, right? We'll just blame him and let him leave, and we'll just blame him for everything. That would be the easy thing to do. And then you got to figure out about Nylander and whether or not he's got the toughness to play in that town.
Now, here's what's interesting, Eric. I'll throw this little wrinkle in there for you. Obviously, the results are the results. Like, you can't argue the results. And Billy's saying Marner done, Tavares gone, which totally, I believe that. That's totally a thing that can happen. But here's what's interesting, okay? Going into this game, Nylander is 5th in the playoffs in scoring in terms of points. 15 points in 12 games. Number 6, Mitch Marner. 13 points in 12 games. So it's kind of funny. Like, again, it didn't translate. It didn't translate into anything. But both those guys had more points than Matthews. And Matthews is the one who's still there.
Yeah.
So Matthews is the one who's still going to be there regardless. You know,
Yep.
it's just kind of interesting. Like I said, the numbers in this case don't translate into anything. It didn't work out, obviously. And Marner's stuff, the majority of it is assists. So that's the thing. Nylander is a little bit more of a balance between goals and assists, but still fairly good. But it's kind of interesting. So yeah, Billy here says could have had Rantanen and Marner refuse to waive his no trade. So that was Eric. One that's close to my heart. The Leafs had a deal on the table for Rantanen if Marner had waived his no trade,
and he refused, and now he's a free agent.
Correct.
Yeah. No, he can't show his face back there.
I think he's got to run. I think he's got to. Eric, I think he should go with his gear still on. I think he's just
Just go
right.
Just go right to the international airport over in Mississauga and get the hell out of town right now.
Because trust me, this is going to get brought up. If Rantanen puts up any more points, like it's like, wait, isn't that the Rantanen who's leading the entire playoffs in points? That guy, yeah. Uh-huh.
The current Conn Smythe Trophy winner if the playoffs stopped right now, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
people are going to bring. I suspect people will bring this up. It might come up once or twice.
So. I would say he's the most hated man in Toronto right now.
It's a tough scene, dude. It's a tough scene. That's why I said, Eric, it's like sports radio will be set ablaze.
Yeah.
It's like, mentally I'll be kind of like keeping a mental tally of Marner. How many times does the names get brought up? Certain names. He's gonna get smoked. Like I said, he needed to. If they had lost and he had gotten like a hat trick or something in this game, like it would have given him a little bit of a saving grace, would have taken the edge off a little bit or something, anything. But nope, there was nothing. There was no redeeming qualities of that game. There's nothing you can take away from it and say, "Oh, that was good."
I don't know enough about him as a person or a player because I don't see him play all the time. But if he doesn't have what it takes, if he doesn't have the toughness, don't come to Boston. Go to Utah. Go play for Utah and just play every day, collect your paycheck. The fans will clap for you. Enjoy your hockey career. Because if he thinks he's going to go from the hotbed of Toronto and be like, this place is too crazy, they expect too much, and he thinks he's going to come to Boston, you're going from the frying pan into the fire. So maybe he needs to go play in Utah where no one cares if he doesn't have what it takes.
Wow, Eric, you're saying you're putting an awful lot on the Mormons. What the hell, man? How do you know the Mormons don't care?
They're just happy to have a hockey team. They don't care. They're just excited. They have a big place to congregate and clap hands.
Wow. Eric, are you starting a feud?
But don't dance. But no. Are you
starting? Eric, are you starting a feud with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Is that what's happening right now?
There's no dancing. You can't celebrate too hard at those Utah games. No dancing.
Wow.
Clapping is okay. Okay, but if it goes over, say 30 seconds, you gotta calm yourself down.
Wow, Eric, you were blind and now you see ways of angering a new fan base. I love it.
Yeah.
No more no trade clauses. Yes, I agree. Hockey team and 5 wives, maybe.
That's right. He can go to Utah and get 5 wives, and every man's dream to have 5 wives. Because that just sounds great.
Well, Eric, that's what he needs the money for.
Yeah.
At that point, you better get all the monies. Get it all. Part ownership in the team. You need a lot.
I haven't been right once in 30 years. Do I go into negatives if I have 5 wives?
Oh, yes. Totally.
Okay. I was just wondering how that, because I'm at 0 for like the last 30 years.
Well, each one counts as a negative. So it's like, so basically every time you get something wrong, you're like -5.
which I'm always wrong. So
yeah, so it just keeps stacking up. Like, and each individual one may have a different issue with you, but then all the other ones are in agreement. So then you just keep going -5 each time. You're screwed, man. You're done. Bob Maxson says, is Eric in the dark because of concussion? Number 195, 241. No. He went because all of a sudden his beloved knives turned on him. They betrayed him. He got the knife to the eye. To the eye.
Unfortunately, I did have another concussion this week. I'm not happy to say that. That sucked. But that's not why I'm in the dark. I'm in the dark because I had LASIK surgery, and
Thanks,
during
Joe.
the procedure, something went wrong, and my right eye was cut. And it is probably the most painful thing that's ever happened.
Yep. Billy says, more love and Eric. You only live once. Also more headaches. Truth.
Yeah, I don't need more loving. I'm good.
But think about it. Ham could steal more of your wives.
Oh, he can have. If I had 5, he could take them all.
I don't even know if the Ham's kingdom is enough to take care of that problem.
Okay, 5 wives. Phew. No thanks.
Good luck, I guess. Well, there you go. So there you go. Bob Jackson here says, I think a lot of us saw the video, Eric. You really need to stop doing stuff like that, dude. Saying that as a friend. Man, you see, Eric? Bob Jackson's being very nice here at the end. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I am still recovering from my concussion. So instead of saying screw you, Bob, I'll just say thank you, Bob. I appreciate your concern. But knowing that I only say that due to the concussion I've had this week.
I see.
And
I'm going to say a
helmet because the other helmet did its job, and it's now been retired.
I was going to say, so wait, so out of curiosity, I know that you said like when you crash, you replace the helmet. Are you replacing the helmet because you crashed, or you replacing the helmet because the helmet is also damaged?
When I hit my head on the ground.
Yeah.
And
your buddy said, geez. Yeah. Oh, geez.
Yeah. The helmet was damaged.
Aha.
And you don't want to, after you crash and the helmet takes the hit, you want to get rid of it because it did its job. It's no longer structurally sound. So the next time you crash and you hit your head, it may not protect you to its fullest extent. So after a bad crash, you got to get rid of your helmet.
Bobby Jackson says, sounds like Bobby Jackson says, sounds like your helmet needs a helmet. These are facts.
You know those protective helmets they put on the football helmets?
Yeah, the one you tried to make fun of, which is now you're going to be your life, Eric.
Yeah, I got to get one of those for my helmet.
Yes, you do. That's right. His head in the ground sounded like John Bunham stomping on the bass drum. Wow, we're getting references.
Yeah, there was
here.
a thud, but I was asleep for that though. Once it went thud, I went sleepies for a second or two. So
but did you know who the president was at the time?
It wasn't a bad concussion. It just kind of, I just went to sleep for a second and I saw stars, and then I, had to get up and shake it off.
He said, Miko Rennan, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Weird.
Like, this is crazy.
It is. All right. So update here at the tail end. We'll wind her down here in a second. So update at the tail end. I did win a Brett Favre in the Fanatics auction. Fancy. Very fancy. Very expensive is what it is, though. God damn. Good Lord. So yeah, I'll share that one on the podcast. We'll do that tomorrow. But yeah, It looks like I have been victorious in my attempt to purchase.
I'll try to show off my Danny Ainge card tomorrow too, if I'm able to do that.
Yep, sounds good.
I hopefully I won't have to do the podcast like this tomorrow, but no.
That would be kind of hilarious, though. I gotta admit.
No promises.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Well, we'll play it by ear. But yeah, so it's been good. Glad everybody was able to chime in. Like I will say, I was really pleased, and I want to thank everybody who did pop in for a little while and contribute to the chat. Also, if on the way out, if you could hit the like button, that would be appreciated. More videos will be coming up on the channel. I don't know. Eric will probably say something scandalous by tomorrow. He'll blame the concussions. He's got himself kind of a get out of jail free card. So he's already pissing off the Mormons. Who knows by tomorrow what other scandalous things he could do? Pretty crazy.
What kind of psycho wants 5 wives? That's insane.
A couple more concussions. At this point, you might be up to 50. Who knows? Do Vegas wives count? Is that a thing? That could be serious. I don't know. Could be bad.
No, Vegas wives are. There's another name for them. You just you rent those wives by the hour.
Wow, Eric. Wow.
Legal
no belief in the good love of a Vegas wife? What the hell, man?
I didn't say I didn't believe in it. I was just explaining it.
Listen, I'm not taking explanations from you, Eric. There are a lot of things that confuse you. I'm not listening to life advice from the man who dives off of cliffs and gets OG'd and then winds up crashing himself and goes. Is that really the person that I want to be taking advice from? Seriously, Eric.
I wouldn't take advice from me, no.
I'm just saying. Paul here says, how much is Legacy? So with the juice, $252 is what it came out to. With the juice. So so that is for a Legacy Collection 1998 Flair Showcase. Brett Favre in a PSA 8 holder. Spicy Meatball. Cool card, but Spicy Meatball.
I like my $40 Danny Ainge autograph even more now.
Yeah. Well, I'll say, like, I like the card, like the Flair Showcase. I'm a big fan of them. I think they're very cool cards.
Yeah.
That it's already graded is good because some of those you got to be careful because they do have some of them are forgeries. So you got to be a little bit careful with those. They did have a lot of backdoor cards on those. So you do want to have a little bit of extra assurances, which is nice. But yeah, they're getting expensive. They're cool cards. Big fan of it. I'll be happy to have it in the collection, but rough. I liked it before when it was cheaper. All right, Billy's got a question for you, Eric. Bill Ranford, Randy Moog, Game 7, one goalie.
Well, I know Andy, and I don't know Bill Ranford, so I'm going to go with Andy, just in case he ever sees this. I don't want him mad at me.
Yeah, you don't want to get clipped, man. If you get clipped, man, you don't want any of that. I've seen that be problematic for people. But yes, so that's the answer to the question. All right, cool. So like I said, more videos will be coming up on the channel. Also live streams. The regular live stream is the Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the normal one. But we'll be back with a regular episode on that. We'll figure it out. I was actually surprised, Eric. It ended up working out. We left a little bit early, but I realized it's like, that's not early. It was 3 hours. We still managed to bullshit for 3 hours. I was like, actually, that's not that bad. I looked at it after. I was like, oh, that was still a lot.
I'll totally be okay at just starting to do 3-hour shows. 4-hour shows kill me.
It's about what we have to talk about. That was really the key thing. It's just that I didn't have any specific agenda set up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I wasn't going to force it. I wasn't going to just add time for the sake of adding time. We were good.
That just proves that there's an entire hour of just making fun of me.
Well,
because I wasn't there, you were an hour.
Eric, so I'm glad you brought that up. During the episode, I made reference to it at least twice. I said I had a minimum of 45 minutes of making fun of Eric in my agenda. So the moment you were not present, I literally had to scrap that. So 45 minutes of quality material.
That makes
quality
sense.
material was thrown out. That minimum 45 minutes.
So that's why.
Mm-hmm. And yet we still managed comfortably over 3 hours. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
No, didn't have any. Amanda was supposed to come by, and all of a sudden she's like had to babysit. She couldn't come. Like Eric, the Burrell and I managed to hold it down for 3 hours with all the peoples. No support, no backup.
She specifically asked to be invited.
She did. So much disappointment, Eric. So much.
I guess.
Yep. Did you kill Wrestling Talk, Carlos? I'll think about it. I'll think. Like. Maybe what I got to do, Eric, is maybe on the wrestling channel, just be like, if you got a problem with anything I said, you can reach out to me. Sanderson DeOr on Instagram. Send all your hate mail right there. I will answer you. I dare you.
I'm used to it.
I was just saying. I got to direct them. I got to funnel them, Eric.
Mail in my own house. I walk from the bedroom to the kitchen and I get hate mail.
Yeah, I just got to say, I just got to direct it in the right direction. It'll be fine. Yeah, that's how we roll, no doubt. All right, so that's it. Actually, you know what, Eric? I'm gonna milk it for 15 more seconds, right at the top of the hour. So you know what? We're getting to the top of the hour, and then we'll call night. That's it. So Eric, I feel like the thumbnail, I said the prediction was pain. The prophecy has been fulfilled. The prophecy has been fulfilled in full. Mr. T was right.
If you are a Leafs fan, then yes, the prophecy was pain, and that is exactly what happened. That was painful. It's one thing to lose by a goal in a hard-fought game where things went back and forth, but to be dominated from the drop of the puck, it's just embarrassing. And for those who watch Letterkenny, if Coach from Letterkenny was the coach of Toronto, he'd be kicking a trash can and yelling, "This is fucking embarrassing." Because that's what it was. It was just embarrassing.
Yep. A couple of good comments here. Billy, Carlos, you have good sports knowledge. Why did you ever go to Sports Talk Radio? We had courses that could have been. I'll tell you. So I'll do this quick story at the end, and I promise we'll go off the air shortly. So I've enjoyed this format, doing the whole live thing, Eric, as you well know. Obviously, I do not lack for the ability to talk for long periods of time.
No, you've got that down.
Yeah, but the thing is, we had the radio station. So back when I was in Eric's favorite place, the most magical place on earth, Guelph. It's totally a real place. But you had the radio station for the university, and they had obviously different shows and everything. And there, I seriously considered going in to do it. Now, unfortunately, radio is kind of a dead art. Like in reality, is probably for the best that I stayed away. I didn't quite have the spark for it that a good old Spicy Eye had. Spicy Eye is a different conversation. We can have that discussion at a different day. But no, I would have enjoyed it in a certain way. But I think you have to not only have a passion for it. And what's funny is that SDPN thing that I shared with you guys tonight, the Steve Dangle thing, he actually started off in Ryerson. They have a kind of a radio media program. So you could actually get into a program that is designed specifically for media. It could be different types. It could be television media. It could be radio media. It could be all these different things. So that was a whole, you could literally take courses for that. And the practical part of it is you could go behind the switchboard and learn how all that stuff works, which was really cool. There was a long era where sports talk radio obviously rules the airwaves. Today, it still exists, of course. Like I guarantee you, Eric, if you tune in, obviously your local sports radio, I'm sure it's still good, but I'm sure it's well down, like it's shrunk from the heyday. Like there would have been a heyday where it's like all over the map and sports radio like dominated the waves.
Yeah, we actually have two, because Boston's a hot spot, so I mean it's a little different than some other places, but we have two different sports radio stations in town that do 24-hour sports. So depending on what personalities you like more, you can flip back and forth and listen to the different shows.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, so kind of answer Billy's question, it was a lack of ambition on my part. It's one of those things where I did my university years and I was just kind of going through the motions and getting through it. I never really considered it. I will say the bigger miss, to be honest with you, and I think you'll find this interesting, Eric. My opinion is the bigger miss is I was in the era where I was on the front edge of technology, and I'm a big technology guy, and I was big into listening to podcasts early. The thought should have crossed my mind to do a podcast, because imagine if you start a podcast in the early days when there aren't a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
Today, that's the sweetest plum. That's the one. That's the one where you get sponsored by DraftKings and they send you $100 million. That's where you make the money.
Oh, okay.
That's where you do it. That's where you get
all on the Leafs to win.
Yeah, that's all you needed to do. But you could have. That was where the money was back. And by the way, you still get to technically, it's a podcast, right? You're still getting to do sports radio. It doesn't mean you can't be. And by the way, you can still do the live streams. You can do call-in people. Like we have the technology now. Today, the technology exists to do all that stuff if you want to. Different era, but like back then, you needed to do it in a radio station, in the thing. Now you can broadcast to the world. You can do the whole. I love the NFL guys like Tom Grossi. If any of you watch football, Tom Grossi is a big Packer guy. He's built a whole thing where they do live watch-alongs every single week, and they'll do multiple per week on the NFL season, and then he'll do videos on the side and all that. That's the current media landscape. If you can do that and do it successfully, Eric, that's where the money's is. You can afford all the LASIK. You can have your eyes cut up by all the knives in the eye. Think about it.
Me and the surgeon are going to have a talk tomorrow.
Lawyer. Labber. Good evening, Labber. Leaves doing leaves things. Facts. Good night, Bobby. Evening, boys. Absolutely embarrassing. That's one word for sure. Yes, I would agree with that. On the bright side, I think it's going to be an exciting offseason for the league. Always, you want to talk about the fireworks and flames, Eric. The flames are going to be coming right out of Scotiabank right now. The flames are there as we speak.
I just think Brendan Shanahan better be real careful starting this car tonight.
So you're saying that you should not use an alternate vehicle. Use
No, he should just have an intern go start his car for him.
It's bad. Sleep with the fishes. There you go. So anyway, check out the recent videos on the channel. This past week was very prolific for videos. It's been a good week for videos, I must say. So check out, if you want, check out the Rage Bait video. That's a good one. I'm a personal fan of it, obviously, bias. But if people, Eric, should definitely check out the last video I have on this channel. And I'm not saying there's one that references Eric, but I'm saying one of the comments might have referenced Eric, and I highlighted it directly in the last video that I uploaded onto this channel about the offer part 2. That's a spoiler right there. What's the viewership on Leaf Nation? Leafs Nation? I know that YouTube channel. I haven't checked it out. Let's see. SDBN is the one I check out just because I enjoy what they do, but let's see what they got. The Leafs Nation. Post-game reaction. All right, so like I said earlier, Eric, I was giving that example of all that. Okay, so this is another channel. This one's the Leafs Nation. 17,000 subscribers, which is respectable. Very respectable.
Yeah.
Their post-game show right now is at 1,300 viewers right now, as we speak. So just think, you got the watch-alongs and then the post-game reactions, 1,300 viewers is nothing to sneeze at. That's respectable too.
No, that's really good.
Yeah. Here you go. Toronto Sports Insider. I never heard of this one. 1,000 viewers. Eric, this is the business, man. This is the business you got to get. They're all talking the hockeys.
They're all talking the hating the Leafs.
Oh, yes. No doubt. So that's the answer to that question. But anyway, all right. So that's it for us. Thank you all. Bonus live stream. Hope you fully enjoyed. Thanks everybody who participated in the chat. And thanks to Eric, who took a few minutes away from his mani-pedi and his bionic eye to join us in the darkness with Aaron Rodgers live. I believe in a thing called love. He does. Lapper, who says, oh, you don't even want to read those 1,300 viewers' comments right now. I don't doubt it. It'll be sensational. Ablaze. Have a good night, Lapper. Take it easy. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining in. We'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Bye, guys.